Going live. I think. Yes? Looks like live. Greetings! It's still not alive?
I'm refreshing it. Just to see.
Alright.
Yep, there it is.
Ah, okay. Good. And this time I remembered to turn off my VPN, so this will actually work. Yeah, I tried to stream yesterday for StarCraft 2, and that fucking failed. It's because my VPN was on.
Yeah, because I think I figured out why there's such a delay is because you run it with normal latency, which gives it that 30-second delay.
Well, it's not the delay that was the issue. It's the other thing.
Oh, no, I mean right now.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, welcome everyone back to the Geekus Theoreticus podcast, episode 5. And today we got a number of topics. The first being Leafy being banned from YouTube permanently, which I found that out actually this morning that it was permanent. I wasn't aware it was a perma ban. I knew he was banned, but I was optimistic that it wasn't permanent mainly because there's been a lot of backlash about it. But no, it looks like YouTube's pretty staunch in that. No, fuck it. This is it. This is the line. Leafy is fucked.
Well, from what I understand it is a permaban, but he is fighting it.
Yeah, I do know he's set up on Storyfire now, so if anybody's interested in still checking out his stuff, go over there. But real quick, let's welcome everybody who's in the chat right now, and we'll continue to talk about it. Jorge, welcome. Oh, wow, you're first today. Usually you're one of the middle people to jump in. Greetings, fellow Lion Warriors. Actually, what I find interesting is that was your second comment, not your first this time. You're slipping up, buddy. Greetings and salutations, Meme Gene 69. Welcome to the channel. Just skip Venus. Know what you mean? Venus is important, but so is Tatongas. Hello, Captain UFO. Welcome. FinCon, welcome. If YouTube is around in 50 years, Leafy still can't have a channel. Probably. I doubt they will be in 50 years. You know, 50 years is a long time to be relevant. And don't get me wrong, Apple's maintained relevance for 30, 40, 30. How old is Apple now? Microsoft's a bit older, I think, even. Since the 80s.
Apple, I think it's either since the 80s or late 70s, so yeah, you're in about 40 years. I think Microsoft is right with them.
And the thing is, even they're struggling to be relevant in certain degrees. And they're relevant still in a lot of fields, but that's because they continue to innovate. But YouTube, there's only so much they can do to innovate a platform like YouTube. But it will be relevant for many years to come. I just don't know if I agree that it's 50 more years. But anyway,
I think what's eventually going to happen is they're going to split from Google and be their own thing.
Well, the thing is, YouTube used to be its own thing back in the day. It was created by, what, 2 guys?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but no, I mean, I think after probably about another 5 to 10 years, what's going to happen is just YouTube's just going to split off and be its own thing. Yeah. Or be forced to split off.
I'd be interested to see if a individual entity was somehow able to buy YouTube from Google. I doubt it, considering how much YouTube is used and interacted with, and how important it's become. Like, think about it. Like, every major outlet and person and lots of internet celebrities have grown on this platform. I don't know. YouTube has a lot of factors you gotta think about when it comes to their relevancy. I don't think they'll be bought out, at least not easily. I can't imagine that paycheck, though, to be able to buy it out.
Yeah.
That would be huge, and it would have to be like multiple wealthy as fuck people to buy YouTube. But anyway, on the topic, Raven98 or Ravd. Is it Ravd or Raven?
Raven, because it's RAVN.
Alright, Raven. Welcome. Well, he is on Storyfire. Yeah, I said that earlier. He is on Storyfire. I'm not gonna link it or anything because I don't exactly know the exact link. I probably should have looked that up, but yeah, like I said, check him out on Storyfire. As far as I'm aware, he's set up over there now. But anyway, as everybody knows, pretty much at this point, Leafy got banned from YouTube, and the exact reason why is not exactly known. Most people seem to believe it's about Pokimane. Personally, I believe it's about his H3H3 bit. It was an animated bit, apparently, in one of his videos. I haven't seen it. Just frame of reference. I haven't seen any of Leafy's videos, except one years ago. But I haven't watched any of his recent stuff whatsoever. But anyway, he made some videos recently about Pokimane that was very critical of her. And he's known for being kind of like an internet bully. He likes to go after people's physical attributes. He likes to go after people for basically things that are superficial and just... personally, I have nothing... I'm not against that. I get made fun of for my physical appearance. It doesn't bother me. It's not important. But I get that a lot of people like his content. They like that he likes to jab at people and go. He does go pretty personal. But at the end of the day, it's not really something I consider like something to ban him over. Like, oh, he's mean.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit much. Certainly, like, talk to him. Like, what's wrong with sending him like an email? Like, YouTube rep sending him an email saying, "Hey, can you stop?" Well, maybe they did, but but the thing about this that bothers me, I wouldn't have a problem with this situation if, he had received multiple community guideline strikes beforehand, because that's always been the crowning rule of being banned. But he just got banned out of nowhere, like perma banned with no community guideline strikes and no copyright strikes. Like, for me, that's the problem. That's why I wanted to talk about it today. Is the suddenness and, well, basically the judge, jury, and executioner method here. I don't know. I don't like that at all. I think that's indicative of a really horrible shit going forward, because as much of an asshole as Leafy was, I don't think anyone should be perma-banned without notice, without warning, without any kind of conversation about it. It just, I don't know. This is really, really scummy, and I think it says some bad shit in our future, because Leafy was mean as hell, and so am I in some of my videos. I'm critical of some people, and like Leaky Soy, I've been incredibly mean about it. Am I next? Am I gonna get banned because I was mean to him?
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen it. Actually, no, I take that back. I know for a fact you have, but you've kept up with Ace and him getting the two. They weren't community strikes, but they were like.
He just got a copyright strike last night.
Yeah, but that was for something completely different.
No.
Yeah.
Like the guy who sent the strike has no foundation to stand on.
Yeah, so. that was kind of funny.
That was hilarious. That guy's. I wish Ace had the resources to take him to court, because that would be an easy case.
But so with this, what I'm referring to is like where Ace did a video on the Twitter post, and two separate people try to bring him down based on privacy. That's what it was. I could see that to an extent.
Unfortunately, that's not what he was banned for. We don't have the exact layout, but we know it wasn't about a privacy complaint.
No. I know, but in something, and I'm looking at not that article. I'm looking at an article from The Verge, and the queen of YouTube says the policy has to be written in such a way that creators can comment on each other and criticize each other. The question is, where do you draw the line? Where do they cross the line? When is it no longer just ideas, but they're criticizing them as a person? Me personally, don't give a shit.
I don't either. I don't like
new subscriber joins the
Thank you to whoever subscribed to the channel. I don't like this shit where YouTube is like, oh, you were mean to someone, that means you must go. Especially since they oftentimes refer to it as harassment. I don't know about you, but I'm well aware of what the fuck real harassment is.
Dude, look at my Twitter.
Yeah.
You've seen my Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen your Twitter. That is harassment. But
Skull Maggot. Skull Maggot's one of mine.
oh,
He came from me.
hey, Skull Maggot. Is he new? I don't.
From my channel? No.
I don't think I've seen. I don't think I've seen him here before. But anyway,
No,
all
he's
of them
new
welcome. Armored Mike, welcome. I'm trying to welcome everybody who's new who might have just hopped in. Karima, welcome. The Glad V, welcome. I think that's everybody new who hopped in. Let me skim through, see if there's anything related to the topic. Armored Mike, what of all these channels have in common is a rabid fan base, but to ban him without any warnings, this is not looking good for YouTube. Yeah, and again, it'd be one thing if he got his 1, 2, 3 community guideline strike. At that point, I don't think most people would be talking about it at this point, because it would be if it was like 1, 2, 3 in like a day, the same issue would be present. But that's not what the issue is. It's not only did he not get any community guideline strikes, it was just his channel was nuked instantly. And again, the exact reasons why have not been said. It's just that they didn't want him anymore, and YouTube has stated that it's permanent, which is kind of stupid. And again, just for being a little mean, oh, he attacked someone's personal identity and their features. It's like, yeah, but that's comedy. Yeah, it's mean, but I don't consider that harassment. It's just being mean.
I mean, I'm a fat, hyper-aggressive Jew. I think if you don't point that out, you're not using cards in your deck.
Again, like that's a big part. That's a big part about comedy, though. A huge part about comedy is about making fun of people, whether it's yourself, others. That's like the core of humor. You really can't do anything funny without somebody suffering. And even fart jokes. What's funny isn't the fart. Nobody's laughing that methane escaped somebody's body. They're laughing because some idiot got embarrassed by farting too loud. You know, that's why we find that shit funny. Or why is it we find it? The thing is, people use the term like Schadenfreude, which is to take pleasure in someone else's suffering, which ironically is German. But the thing is, in all honesty, if you want like an if you want like an English translation for what Schadenfreude is, it's just humor. All comedy has a victim. Someone has to suffer for others to take enjoyment. That's always been the crux of comedy. Someone has to suffer. That is basically the law of comedy. So Leafy making fun of Pokemon's nose, which is what I heard he made fun of quite a bit, that's perfect grounds to do so. Hey, look, she could be mad, offended, pissed, but at the end of the day, to be funny, he has to make fun of something. I mean, he's not an analytical channel. I remember that from the videos I used to watch. He's an internet troll. He likes to piss on people. He likes to be mean. He likes to be aggressive. And he's a hypocrite. But the thing is, at the end of the day, despite the fact that all those things are aspects I don't like about him, at the same time, does he have any grounds to be banned for being mean? Fuck no. He's being funny. That's why he has a following. People find him basically on the same wavelength as Howard Stern. A guy who's just an absolute dickhead to people, but he does it in a funny way. Although I'd say Howard Stern's a bit more dry humor at times. Sometimes he's more overt, but in my opinion, being mean to people should never and has never been good grounds to ban somebody. That's just ridiculous. Especially this suddenly on a platform that has an established system in place. Like step 1, step 2, step 3. You have an established system of community guideline strikes that is perfectly kind and fair and works, but for some reason you're like, fuck that. We're not gonna use the very own system we put in place. We're just gonna drop a nuke and say good sayonara and ignore our own system. Well, now nobody's safe. Before this, as far as I'm aware, there haven't been any sudden permabans that didn't have some kind of copyright infringement reason or a community guideline strike reason. This is the only one I've heard of recently that was just a nuke. Like, quick, sudden, rapid, and all-encompassing.
And I think there's a couple factors at play here. I think what happened to Leafy is shitty. But I've also seen other YouTubers who are almost the exact opposite. And they are... I'm trying to find the right word. They'll only throw their hat in when it helps them. For instance, I've seen a YouTuber who has no skin in the game do a few live streams called "Cancel Culture Needs to Be Canceled." You know,
irony
has, and it's not about the Warhammer community. It has to do with stand-up comedy, which is kind of related to this because of Leafy in this sense. You know, some people find it funny. I don't know. I've never watched his shit, but you know.
Do you like? What's a good example? Do you like, humor where people are made basically like hyper aggressive humor? Like
I watched fucking George Carlin and Richard Pryor.
Yeah, but their delivery is very different. I'd say Leafy's more like he sounds like he's a bully. Like he's more like outwardly aggressive. There's no like humoristic inflection or anything like that. I'd say he sounds more like a dry humor kind of thing. At least from the videos I've seen, and mind you, that's from years ago. I don't know if his new stuff is any better or worse. But from what I remember years ago, he had a bit more of a, like, look at this guy's fucking nose. He's so fucking stupid. Like, he says shit like that.
I know another YouTuber exactly like that. And it's fucking stupid. No, I don't like. I mean, but it's like we were talking before the stream. It's very similar to Space Wolves for me. I don't like it, but I understand why people like it.
I don't know if I should be impressed or not. You somehow did like that twist. Like, I'm gonna bring it back to this.
No. I mean, it's the same exact thing. I personally do not like it, but I do understand why people would enjoy it.
Yeah.
It wasn't me trying to do a twist. It's like, hey, I'm too stupid for words. This is me using my words for before.
Alright. Real quickly, welcome some new people who hopped in. Punishment 90, welcome. YouTube has a protested class of content. Oh, do you mean protect? Oh, protected. Okay. Okay, I was about to say protested. And I would say both are true. There is a set of... Yeah, it's both are true because there are, like, especially the commentary community, which I'm trying to get out of. Other than these podcasts are fun to do. But when it comes to actually making, like, daily uploads of, like, gaming news and stuff and local drama, I'm getting out of that as soon as I can. But when it comes to the commentary community, I'd say YouTube protests them a lot. They're the most demonetized type of content. They're often the least pushed. And even if you have, like, a bell notification on for all notifications for a channel that does commentary, oftentimes they won't send out notifications. So I'd say protested and protected are both true. They have a set content creators they want to protect for some reason, like vloggers, like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, which by the way we have a topic on on Jake Paul later. But anyway, or Logan Paul, sorry.
Can it be on where he got the shit kicked out of him?
I didn't hear he get the shit kicked out of him, but
he did a boxing match thing.
Oh, the boxing match.
Yeah, apparently he lost.
No, he didn't lose. I watched it. It wasn't a lot. The thing is, it was pretty close. He lost officially due to a judge call, but in terms of actual boxing match, it wasn't that clear cut. It was actually a pretty good boxing match, if I'm being honest. Compared to like professionals, it wasn't that good, but for what I was expecting, it was better. I won't say it was worth the money I spent, but I didn't regret it necessarily. I kind of found it enjoyable. But then again, he was getting punched in the face. So anyway.
I was going to say which part was enjoyable. The actual boxing of him getting punched repeatedly in the face.
Cathartic sense of fun. Anyway, Skull Maggot, we already welcomed you, but welcome again. Moraine, welcome. Hello, you lovely people. Hello, you beautiful woman. Is that? Yeah, I think that's it. I don't see any new faces past that. Alright. So, back on track. Okay. Alright, hey Moraine, again. Leafy is old. Oh, Leafy old videos did tend to go in looks or his subs or his appearance. Very juvenile, low-level humor. Okay, do you know if his newer stuff was any different? Because that's how I would describe his old stuff.
Well, above
Dark
that,
Designs, by the way, welcome. I almost missed you. Sorry.
Above that, Raven98 also says, to be honest, this new Leafy, I really like him. You eventually get to understand his true, honest self in general. He admits his mistakes.
Interesting. Too bad I can't check that out now they got nuked, but... It's good to hear, though, that he improved. And he did take a few years off of YouTube after he got content copped. I was actually surprised to see he came back. I love this podcast. I have been trying to catch up. Oh, I'm happy you enjoy the podcast, Skull Maggot. So...
And Armored Mike brings up something interesting. Talking about Jake Paul. But just to talk about the end part of it. But God forbid you point out the bad idea a protected YouTuber has. There's a guy on Kibbs's Discord who's helped me out a little. And he's technically under 2 protected statuses. And as much as I would like to admit that that's a myth, it's not. It's 100% fucking a thing.
The thing is, YouTube protects people on the basis of, superficial stuff that we won't get into because I'm not interested in bringing politics into this. But there are people who are protected due to political views and superficial aspects about themselves, like race and the such. Then there are the YouTubers who are protected who, for seemingly no obvious reason, like Logan and Jake Paul, the shit that they've done, honestly, like, if you think what Leafy's done is bad, all Leafy has ever done is be rude and mean. When you look at the shit that they've done, like they've broken laws on camera regularly for years. Only recently have they ever felt the sting from that, and that was when Jake Paul's mansion got raided by the FBI, which was hilarious, by the way. I'm sorry. If you want to know what Schadenfreude feels like, that was it. I was like, I hope they take all this shit.
I saw that and I was like, I was waiting for one of these idiots to be involved.
I honestly can't believe those guys are older than me. Because the thing is, I can't seem to fathom how Logan and Jake Paul are actually older than me when they act like 10 years younger than me. Like they act like college frat boys who never got past the frat boy stage.
Dude, that's 10 years younger than me. That is your age. That's not 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't act like that. I don't act like that at all. I don't act like that at all.
No, you don't.
And they're like fucking like 25, 28, some shit. Thank you for the super chat, Punishment 90. Off topic, but can you guys check out Official Audiorum? He's a good friend, and his 40k music is critically underrated, and so is his channel. I can check it out. If you mean like on a video or something, probably not. I don't do reactions, especially to music. But I can check him out on my own time.
There's only one reaction on my channel, and I got that pre-approved by the creator. It was the StarCraft.
Praise be to you, mighty donator.
Yeah, I don't usually do reactions anymore. I used to do that as my main content years ago, and I'm finally out of that. Thank God. I fucking hated doing those. It feels better to do actual content now. Not that shit. Best decision of my life is getting away from that crap. Anyway, but yeah, I could check him out on my own time.
They said just check him out generally.
Just check him out generally. Yeah, I could check him out on my own time. Well, who knows? Might see something interesting. If his music's good enough, I could hire him for my Grimdark. Potentially. And obviously, I'm not that far along in production yet, but who's to say? If his music's good enough, I'd certainly write it down. Meme Gene 69, welcome. About all this Leafy stuff, now I realize that Asmongold and Ethan Klein are fucking hypocrites. Asmongold's always been a hypocrite. Let's be frank. Asmongold will change his views on a dime, like to suit himself. Like during the H3H3 and Keemstar stuff, he made a lot of statements about not liking like going after sponsors and stuff. Then, as soon as Pokimane flutters her eyelashes at him in a video format, he's like, "Oh, It's a Gundam. If I were YouTube, I would have nuked It's a Gundam from the platform. Fuck him." And I was like, when did Asmongold turn into Asmonsimp? Like, what the fuck? Like, normally I like Asmongold, but I lost all respect for him over that. Like, instantly. Because that was just the most, like, flipped views I've ever seen. Like, how really? Because Pokimane showed some obviously cherry-picked clips from It's a Gundam's video, you're like, "Oh, if I were YouTube, I would have destroyed his channel. I would have nuked him. I would have completely removed him from the platform without warning." Like, what? Like the shit he said was stuff you say about your viewers all the time. You shit on your own viewers for having bad transmogs. Like, what? It's the most hypocritical bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
I was saying, that sounds suspiciously familiar to what's going on in the 40K community.
Again, it's weird. People who before a lot of these controversies you would think would be respectable, likable people end up turning into the opposite. Like complete hypocrites, flipping their previously stated perspectives on its head. I don't get it. I really don't get it. For me, again, I usually respected Asmongold's perspective. I liked watching his views, but I have never seen a more blatant just flip in terms of like personal views and perspective on a topic so suddenly. That was just like fucking ridiculous. But
maybe he was hoping to get some for bathwater.
Maybe. Oh no, that's the wrong person. That's
no. I know it's the wrong person. That doesn't
other
mean
chick.
It's not
I don't
true.
know her name. I don't know. I still like Asmongold for his WoW videos, but I don't think I'll ever. I don't think I'll ever take his word on anything when it comes to cancel culture or going after. I don't think I'll ever take his perspective seriously on those topics ever again. There's just simply no possible way to respect those perspectives anymore. It's just I can't respect it now. I can't. Just way too hypocritical. But
and
anyway,
Punisher 90 kind of points it out. None of them are morally righteous. They do anything and everything for views and money. That's kind of half true, or at least I believe it's half true. I think they do it for either views or money, or they do it for the gratification of hurting someone, of putting themselves above someone else.
Yeah. I can't see the reason for it. But anyway, as for Nameless Scholar, welcome. Mustafa Ahmed, welcome to the stream, guys. Overall, with the whole Leafy being banned stuff, I think this spells a lot, like a big doom flag above a lot of content creators. Because if Leafy got banned simply because he was a bit mean to people, and I don't define harassment as, being mean. Yeah. Harassment is not like leaving someone alone, trying to dox them, go after them, trying to, cancel them over minor shit, threatening their lives on a regular basis. That's harassment. Being mean, that's not harassment. If you think that's harassment, you got it good. You got it really good. Especially if you're a content creator.
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, I think, and you've seen me say this before, I think people just need to get a thick fucking skin.
Yeah,
I am sick of this thin-skinned bullshit.
It's really just pathetic, People have no spine.
No, they really don't. I mean, it's like it's a wonder they can get around with no spine and no skin. But hey,
they do their best.
Do what people do.
They're inflated with helium. That's why. Jorge says.
Don't make me think of inflation. That's not funny.
Jorge says, and Asmongold's chat called him out for hypocrisy of the highest order. It was fun to watch. Shane McConnell didn't call Asmon out. Normally, McCool does a good job of calling out Asmon's shit. McConnell. Oh, yeah, I remember McConnell. He's in most of his videos. I don't know how I forget. Yeah, again, I don't know. Again, that video, though, again, I lost a lot of respect for Asmongold pretty quickly. A guy I normally think is pretty respectable. Again, no. That was just, for me, you just fell to a degree that was just too pathetic for me. It's pure simp mode right there. Nemo Scholar. The Doom flag was raised during the end of 2018 when YouTube terminated Mumkey Jones. That's true. I think Mumkey Jones was probably like the initial red flag. Certainly, for like what he was nuked as well, wasn't he? I don't remember if there was any kind of community guideline strike or anything with that. I can't remember if he was nuked or not, but I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like it when you talk about, those, shooties for some reason. They don't like it when you talk about any current events if you're not like an established news channel.
Yeah.
For some reason. Again, I guess it's because they just immediately assume you're going to, I don't know, brainwash people. I don't know, some dumb shit. I find it funny that YouTube, this is from Punishment 90, I find it funny that YouTube became the alternative for entertainment, but it has basically ended up being a mirror to anything on cable television. Free speech is only free if it's the right opinion. Exactly. YouTube became the very thing it was supposed to replace, but unfortunately, Google is a large corporation, and they are, for some reason, again, how do you get so big in companies being so soft and so weak and so easily offended? But they for some reason want to push this narrative of being weak is okay and being easily offended is okay. So I don't know how the fuck anybody survives nowadays. It's fucking amazing. Wasn't Asmongold dating a model or something? He was dating what do you call it? He was dating another Twitch streamer for a while. She was I can't remember her name. She looked good. If I recall correctly, she looked cute. In my opinion, out of his league for sure. But I'm not gonna judge it. They probably got along great, but as far as I'm aware, they broke up. I don't know if she was a model necessarily. I can't remember too much about that whole relationship thing, but as far as I'm aware, their relationship was real. Moraine says, I would let you simp all over me. I'm glad of that, Moraine. I'm glad. That's why alternative tube is going to be a thing. Yeah, but hopefully. Storyfire, again, for those interested, Leafy is on Storyfire now, so check him out over there. But yeah, at some point there is going to be an alternative to YouTube. But I don't know how soon. Storyfire is the closest in terms of like formatting, but unfortunately it's super small. It's like indie sized. I don't know if there's like a GoFundMe or anything like that for them, but if I swear to God, if the next time there's a major YouTube controversy, which would be like tomorrow, they should probably capitalize off of that and say, hey, donate to Storyfire so we can hire more people to run servers. So we can start, verifying people faster and getting more people on this platform. I think that would do a lot of favors.
Punishment 90 says, I honestly think that YouTube drama is all a work. It's like professional wrestling back in the day with feuding wrestlers. There's always a face to heel YouTuber and generates lots of ad revenue. I disagree. In some cases that's true, but I have not just with Arch, but even before that, I've seen some pretty interesting YouTube drama. And it wasn't. It's like I said, but it's like I believe even you said before. It's done mostly for views or money or just to feel better by punching someone down.
I think when it comes to YouTube beefs, there are some that are real. The real ones are usually seen with smaller well, even then that's dependent. There are definitely fake beefs. I think we see a lot of those fake beefs between like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Deji, those guys. But there amongst the fake ones there are definitely real there are definitely like real confrontations, definitely real drama and fighting, like with the anti-Arch crowd. Arch, that's real. Between, I hate Leaky Soy. I genuinely do. I'm not like back behind the scenes emailing the fuck out of him going, all right, you do this, I'm gonna make fun of you for it, we're both gonna make ad revenue. No, I hate his guts. I think that a lot of people who want to blanket slate that kind of thing and say, like, oh, well, it's all just fake. It's not all fake. Unlike with wrestling, YouTube is massive. And I'm not saying wrestling was not like a big industry. It was. But compare it to YouTube. Wrestling would be like a single channel on YouTube. Like the WWE channel would be a single channel, I think. So with that, like giving that scale, keep in mind that just because two channels create a fake beef doesn't mean that these smaller channels that are having a beef aren't having a real one. I think it's not stupid, but I think it's disingenuous to just because there are fake beefs to say that they're all fake beefs. I think that's disingenuous and blatantly kind of dumb.
Because the one I kind of was involved in was people going after Oxford.
Oxhorn.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I don't know that situation.
It's so take everything they're doing with Arch, and instead of going back like 3 years and taking what he said out of context, in the case of Oxford, they went back like a decade and a half. And they didn't even take what he did out of context. They just took a deleted Twitter post from him from about 10, 15 years in the past. And, like, look how much of an asshole he is.
It's still the dumbest shit. Like, 10 years ago they said this. Yeah, you do realize most people change in 2 years, right? It's fucking ridiculous.
And I mean, it's like, it's one of those things where I was like, dude, fucking really. He makes lore videos. Leave it the fuck alone. It happened how long ago? Just sit down, shut up, put your dunce cap back on, and continue licking the
paint. Yeah. Zirius says this is Zirius and Ludus, are you guys gonna have a guest on the podcast anytime soon or anytime? He said. We have a guest slot open of sorts.
I mean, I'm not against the idea.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, I know that's not a stellar recommendation, but I'm not against it.
Yeah, I'm not against it. We don't have any lined up or planned. Mostly, yeah. I like to keep it just me and Ludus because I like our conversation, our stuff. Like, if we're talking about a specific YouTuber or person, I wouldn't be against like bringing them on. Obviously, we're both smaller creators. So to get somebody on, especially the people we would be talking about, most of the people we end up talking about in these videos, if they're YouTubers, are huge. And the likelihood they'd even see an email from me or Ludus inviting them on the podcast is like 0. The only larger creator either of us have ever even had the opportunity to speak with is Arch. And that's because Arch generally doesn't care about the size of who he talks to or not. And also less people try and talk to him these days. I think that has a huge impact on him being able to even see our messages. But yeah, other than Arch, there's really like no one massive we can bring on the podcast.
And I want to point something out real quick because I want to go down this rabbit hole. Richard Valdez. So Oxhorn is fat. Okay, so am I. He's a religious fanatic. And now he's Mr. Nice Guy. Again, you're looking at, okay, so he changed over time. I mean, like we just said, I was an asshole a year ago. I was an asshole 2 years ago. I'm still an asshole. I'm just not as big of one. Well, in the figurative sense. In the literal sense, I am a little bit bigger of an asshole, but that's different. The thing is, if you don't like someone, you don't have to interact with them. You don't have to like them. You don't have to watch their content. You know, using Fallout 4 channels, there are plenty of other good ones. There's MXR. There's another lore channel, and damn it, I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I used to watch it because I watched them. I watched Oxworn, and I watched MXR. And I watched one more channel, but it wasn't a lore channel. Fuck, I can't think. But like, from a 40k perspective, I mean, you have Luton, you have Arch, you have Major Kill, you have Tactica Imperialis. You have all these lore channels. If you don't like one, you don't have to sit here and badmouth them. You just don't have anything to do with it. Kind of simple.
And at the end of the day, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that may make me sound like a dick, but what good is it going to do, for me to sit and like, oh yeah, this YouTuber's a fucking dick. Like, I would have, I could do better for myself and for everyone else. Just like, okay, I'm gonna keep that to myself. But how about this YouTuber that I do like? In my case, I'd say like Arch or like Outside Xbox, Outside Extra, outside of 40k. I would talk about stuff like that because they're actual YouTube channels that I like. I won't talk about shit I don't like. So all I was gonna do is just bring everyone down for no reason.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Tangents are tangents. Okay. I think. Why not have Ace 1918, Kibbs, or even Arch on? Well, thing is, I don't want to bring them on for no reason. Like, I'm not gonna ask Arch to join the podcast just to be here. I think that's pointless, and it'd be cool to talk to him about some of these topics, but I don't really want to, I'm sure he has other stuff he'd rather be doing than just sitting here occasionally throwing his 2 cents in on some random topics we throw together in a week.
In a week, how generous.
Sometimes we do these like a day before. But I don't think, I think Arch has like a lot of content he likes to work on. He has a lot of stuff he's doing already. I don't really want to bring him on just for the sake of having him in the title. Oh, we have Arch. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna grow artificially for that one podcast, and then we're gonna go back to our normal views the moment he's gone. Like, and in my opinion, it's not good for us. It's not good for him. It's good for us for the one stream, but that's it. I'd rather he come on because we're actually talking to him about something that he wants to talk about, and that we can actually have a dialogue about. Just to have him here, like a trophy, like a pedestal or something. Like, oh, we got Arch. I don't know. I feel like that's almost disrespectful.
Or something that he's involved in, at least.
Yeah, I don't want to just drag him on here for the sake of it. But for Ace and Kibbs, I mean, we could have Ace on next time if once he gets a conclusion to his current copyright stuff. I'd love to get him on just to talk about like all the strikes and like all the claims he's been getting lately. He's getting a lot of them. And not to mention like the people trying to take down his channel. I'd actually like to bring him on next time. I'd actually talk about that stuff, like,
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, conversationally. I don't know. We'll talk to him on the side. As for Kibbs, again, same with Arch. I can't see Kibbs wanting to be on here, just for the sake of it. I mean, again, it's the same exact like wavelength. I'd rather he be on to converse about something he cares about.
Yeah, I think that's what it would have to take to get Kibbs on. Is like, hey, we're going to talk about this, or this. Would any of these interest you? Would you like to come on and talk with us about it?
Yeah.
And chances are he'll probably just say no. But I mean, because I mean, now on the flip side of it, I could say him saying yes just to be nice about it, though. At the same time, like, yeah, I'll do it. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'd rather have those guys. I'd rather have our compatriots on because they want to be, and because that they care about the topics at hand. I like it just being me and Ludus for right now because, as far as I know, both of us just enjoy talking to each other and conversing, having fun, talking about random topics like the news raffle of the week on the podcast. It's it's our podcast, this is something I like to do between the two of us.
Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose.
Exactly. I think I like how it is right now, but maybe we'll have some of our other friends on at a later date when again there's something they might actually care about.
I just had a funny thought. Imagine Bubbles.
Bubbles on? Ooh.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Bubbles.
I like Bubbles, but I'm not gonna lie, he still does kind of intimidate me a little bit.
You're intimidated by Bubbles?
Well, it's a lot to do with with him and Arch. Is I don't really know fully how to interact with him. Like Kibbs, I've gotten used to. I know how to interact with, but like Bubbles and Arch, I just don't interact with as much.
I don't think I've had too many. I don't think I've had any one-on-ones with Bubbles, but
I feel like one or two, but it's over Factorio and that autism. Oh my god!
I don't know. I don't think I'm intimidated by him though.
Yeah. Well, no, so it's one of those things where I guess intimidated would be the wrong word. Like I said, I just don't know how to interact with him fully yet.
Oh, see if he wants to just have a casual conversation next time you see him on one of the voice chats on Kibbs Discord. Maybe just try and work on it.
Punishment 90 says, "This is the first time I've ever popped on, and I've been watching your content. And I think you guys are eternally good dudes." Oh, you're so wrong.
Us good? Well, apparently we fooled one man.
I mean, he likes the closest thing to the World Eaters that current 40k has, which is the Black Templar, and I just belong like Chaos, so there's no way we're good people. I will continue to make fun of the Black Templar because I know I can get away with it.
No, you won't. But anyway. Zirius says, maybe a guest star raffle? What? Like make a YouTube community post asking for someone to come on as a guest and then randomly choose one? Well, that's even dumber. Because if you just invite on a random person who's like, oh, I'd like to be on. First of all, you're not going to know anything about them. Second of all, how do you know that they're coming on with any kind of good intentions? How do you know they're not a troll? How do you know they're not going to fuck with you?
I mean, I would kind of be okay bringing on someone with a different opinion. But I also, that would have to be seriously kept in check. Like, it would have to be kept respectful, which in our case, with some of the shit we're involved in, especially with the anti-arch stuff, that would be interesting.
Well, the thing is, again, we're not a political podcast.
Right, no.
So the people we'd have to bring on would have to be people who would have, like, for example, we couldn't have Sunsoul on. You know, the guy who interviews me and Arch.
I would love that, actually.
Well, no, but the thing is, he's a political commentator. And I don't do politics, so...
No, I know, but... That
again, that's the part I hated most about my interview with him, is... the thing I hated most is out of nowhere, I feel like I got clotheslined by the fact that he brought in, like, BLM and riots and shit. I was like, what the fuck? Like, all he told me, and like, when I agreed to go on was, oh, we're going to talk about the email campaign. I'm like, okay, email campaign. Then he pulls in all this, like, real-life politics. I'm like, whoa! Whoa! Where the fuck did all... Then I found out afterwards he's a political commentator, and I don't do that shit, so I would not have him on the basis he's a political commentator.
I know, but understand that I know he will never be on here. That does not mean that I don't like to think about having him on here just so I can literally do to him what he did to you and Arch.
I don't want you to do what he did to us. He just clotheslined us with politics.
See, because here's the thing. Because I can bull rush him, and every time he starts getting on that shit, no. This is what we're talking about. That would be fun for me because I don't like people like that.
I don't like him now. Like, the thing is, my opinion has soured more and more of him.
Oh no, I absolutely get that. And no, it's not really politic bashing. It's more of he was very disrespectful to both Asmagon and Arch.
No, yeah, he was. He was full on disrespectful. He was more respectful than most of the people who he clearly associates with, but that's not saying much.
And so it's like it's one of those things where I would absolutely be more than happy to have an opportunity to fuck with him since he did that.
Yeah. I'm fine just not interacting with anymore. I had a pretty bad experience on that interview, so I'm good not interacting with him anymore. Personally. Not because I'm not, like, I don't feel like I could actually converse with him. I could, but the problem is he wouldn't listen. He didn't listen to me or Arch about anything we said. He even laughed at us on multiple occasions. Clearly hyperbolically. So it was just a bad experience overall. And when Arch left, he didn't even acknowledge my existence. So, and he invited me on, just me, initially. So yeah, it was a chopped liver kind of thing. It was like, oh, now that I got Arch, this guy's chopped liver. But
see, and this makes me want to fuck with him more. I'm a bad person at heart. I really am.
Nah. But
I don't like it when people fuck with my friends.
I don't care. I got over it. I just think the interview was shit, that's all. Alright, so anyway, how long were we on this? Oh, almost an hour? Okay.
An hour?
Alright, almost an hour. How about we get through these now? Next topic, Apple versus Epic. The Unreal Engine saved. Yeah, I heard about this. Wasn't there like a restraining order or some kind?
A partial restraining order. So this is something that I thought was very interesting because they're actually in September going to get a final say on this because the court date is until April. So the judge put a temporary partial restraining order to where Apple cannot take off the Unreal Engine or restrict Epic's use of Unreal Engine, but they will not have Fortnite on the iOS. Which, I mean, I'm fucking okay with. That's retarded to begin with, but I digress.
I don't play Fortnite, so...
Yeah.
For me, I don't give a shit.
To you, mighty donator.
Thank you.
Reverend Norris, thank you for the super chat, man. Thank you. You are awesome as always, man. Love you both. Keep up being awesome. I'm glad you misunderstand and think we're awesome. I'm glad you think that. We tricked one. We got him.
Does he mean keep on being autist?
Maybe. I don't know. Is that awesome? Autism, autism, awesome. They both start with A.
So, well, the thing is Epic made the argument that if Fortnite is removed and their access to Unreal Engine is taken away, it will irreparably damage the company, which is true, and I don't necessarily say that's a bad thing. I actually agree with Arch, because right now it's Epic and Google. Or, I mean, Apple and Google versus Epic, and Microsoft is thrown in their hat on the side of Epic. Not to a massive degree, but they're like, they've at least said, yeah, we support, this would hurt Epic,
Yeah.
And so if these four decide to tear themselves apart over this, I'm all good with it. I really am. They will be reconvening on September 28th to argue whether Fortnite and Unreal Engine can remain on Apple's platform until April, when the hearing will be when the hearing date is. So I'm actually kind of interested to see how this turns out, because this could have some really big impacts in the gaming community, quite frankly.
Well, big is an understatement. And I'd say that this is probably the biggest gaming story that's going on right now, is the Apple versus Epic stuff. Mainly because when we look at Carnth Corn, welcome, by the way, welcome. But when we look at Apple versus Epic and about the Unreal Engine and Fortnite, the thing is, Fortnite being banned from iOS is not a big deal at all, in my opinion. It's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's the Unreal Engine being potentially banned that could have detrimental effects, especially on the indie market. You know how many indie developers produce games with Unreal? And thing is, I'm still not sure what Apple's what involvement they have with the Unreal Engine itself, other than just being able to ban a tool. And I get they can do that, but do they have any kind of am I interpreting too much into this, that they have a deeper connection to the Unreal Engine in and of itself?
So from what I understand, there are tools for the Unreal Engine on iOS that Epic does use. This would literally be taking tools out of their toolbox.
Yeah, I wonder how. The thing is, I'm questioning how important those tools are.
No, I agree. I mean, I would assume not that important. I think this is more of just an argument based on principle, but also at the same time, if you're going to put tools on for your system onto iOS and then piss off Apple, whatever happens is your fault.
Yeah.
That's you just made two really dumb mistakes. So
especially considering what they're doing right now.
Yeah. So and even if they own Unreal Engine, if they need because I saw Punishment 90 asked this earlier. So if I don't know the full details of this, but assuming they do own Unreal Engine, if some of the tools require the iOS, if Epic is completely cut off from the iOS, they lose those tools permanently.
Yeah. And as for the direct question, okay, I'm super confused. Doesn't Epic own Unreal Engine? Yes, they own and design Unreal Engine.
Okay.
However, Apple can, and legally can anyway, they can ban tools. They can ban pretty much anything because they own the platform. They can ban things that use certain tools. They can ban things that use certain other platforms. They can ban things on the basis of they just don't like it. That's the shitty part about owning and operating both the hardware and the software. They own 100% of it. So because of that, in a sense, they do have a quote-unquote monopoly. But the thing is, unlike the standard term for a monopoly, we discussed this last time, when we look at how monopolies are viewed in our current economy, a lot of our laws are, especially in the U.S. By the way, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Punishment 90. It's a super scary premise when companies can start dictating what engines developers can use to be on their digital storefronts. This can ruin tons. Correct, and that's why this is such a big deal. But just to explain why this is even possible is how the law looks at monopolies as of right now. The laws are still very, very, very behind the times. Technology is developing, I'm going to say, a solid century ahead of where our laws are at. Our laws are still back in the 1920s while we're in 2020. So the concept of monopolies, the concept of monopolies is very much viewed as... The thing is, again, Apple creates the hardware for the Apple devices, and they create the software. Both are considered products, and yes, the iOS is a storefront, but it's still their storefront on their hardware. So their monopoly over it is justified because it's not considered by U.S. law to be what someone would standardly define as a monopoly. The law would look at it as the same as if a pizza shop only sold their own kind of pizza. Like Pizza Hut sells its own brand of pizza. It doesn't sell Domino's. It doesn't sell Caesar's. It sells Pizza Hut pizza. That's how the law looks at it. So, yes, they are selling other people's games, but it's the same as, again, back to the Pizza Hut analogy, it's the same as like selling Pepsi or Coke. It's other companies are paying to have their product sold through them as a conduit. But but again, the law doesn't look at that as a monopoly. It looks at it as a business that is selling other products through this conduit of a storefront. It's looked at as the same way. It's not a monopoly. And technically speaking, these app creators can go to other platforms. They're not. Apple has no say in whether they go to the Android Google storefront. They have no say in that. But they do have a say on their iOS product. The Apple Store is their product, therefore it's viewed as the same, again, as Pizza Hut selling Pepsi or Coke or any of those kinds of products. It's just they're selling it through their storefront, but their storefront's still theirs. They dictate what they do and do not sell. And they can, again, legally speaking, in air quotes, monopolize it. Because, again, they own, operate, and construct it in its entirety. But it's not considered a legal monopoly because monopolies are typically defined as a whole genre of something. Like, for example, if a company had a quote-unquote monopoly of oil, if we only had one company that produced oil and then intentionally bought out or crushed smaller companies, which they can do, but they have to do it... companies have to do it through shady means nowadays. They can't do it overtly. You know, you can't overtly deny someone else a product or overbid them or something. You can compete with them for prices and for sure, but you can't prevent them from getting the product legally. You have to just compete with them through the standard typical marketplace ways, like through prices, through price tags, through things like that. But the law again looks at like whole genres of the market. They look at oil, that's a market. They look at food distribution, that's a market. They look at the fast food industry. That is a sub-market of the food industry. They look at grocery stores. Those are a market. These are all markets with different outlets, different names, different brands that sell, again, products through their storefronts. But when we look at the digital side of things, the laws are not defined properly. They don't see iOS and Apple selling other games and apps and controlling what they do and don't sell on those physical products as a monopoly, because again, they create them and they own and operate the software. So it's just considered them using their property. It's not considered a monopoly because it's their product.
Yeah, and on this note, the reason that Apple can do that away with it, I don't really see it as scary. It's their right.
It is their right. By like current U.S. law, this is perfectly legal what they're doing.
Well, no, even if so, to an extent, even if the law were to change, I would still believe they're in the moral right to be able to cut Epic off from the Unreal Engine on iOS because it is their service. Epic broke the iOS terms of service. Yeah. It is their fault. If they get cut off from it, they did it. So they cut themselves off from the iOS and from their tools for the Unreal Engine on the iOS. The only people they have to blame is themselves.
Correct. And the thing is, and that's why I don't see Epic winning this, because they have absolutely no legal standing. First of all, the biggest issues that they have right now, because right now Epic is really, really lucky the court even gave them this restraining order, if you ask me. If I were the judge, I don't know if I would have granted this, because honestly, they're in the wrong almost entirely, because they had Fortnite on their store and agreed to the terms of service, which included not subverting the 30% cut that Apple takes for the microtransactions. That you can't subvert that. It's completely up to them. And the thing is, again, they agreed to it. Like, I don't know how long Fortnite was on the iOS, but I'm pretty sure it's been a couple years. So they've been benefiting from this system for years, and only now And recently we heard that they asked for an exemption from Apple for the 30% cut thing, which, by the way, 30% is a bit extreme. But at the same time, when you look at it from a legal standpoint, they agreed to it. They signed the dotted line. They said, okay, we agree that you get 30% of the microtransactions. And when they didn't get their way, when they said, hey, can we get an exception from this? And Apple went, no. And then they just turned around and they flipped them, gave them the bird and said, well, we're going to create a subversion, even though it's directly against your written terms of service. Then they're in the legal wrong. There's really, the only thing you could argue is the moral right, but the thing is that means nothing in a courtroom. That means nothing. Actually, no, it doesn't mean nothing. It means a little if there's a jury involved. If you can influence how a jury looks at a case, that's important. But this isn't a jury case. This is a legal case. There's not going to be a jury.
And the reason that
there's going to be a judge, and that's it. And he or she is only going to look at it from a legal perspective.
The reason that Fortnite got hit, but not Unreal Engine, is because it's done through technically two different companies.
Yeah.
Fortnite is done through Epic Games, while Unreal Engine is done through Epic Games International. This is why Apple lost that one, is because Apple claimed it's just a shell corporation. And okay, we'll go with you with the one that is Epic Games, but the Epic Games International, we're not right now. So
yeah, like I said, Epic's in the legal wrong. They signed the dotted line, they agreed to it, and then they broke the rules intentionally. There's no way they're gonna win this. Not in the courtroom. They might win public opinion, but that's not going to matter much when their bank account gets fucking drained from the legal battle that's going to ensue. And to be honest, if I were Apple, I would move to have this case dismissed under the grounds that it's not valid. It's pretty clear cut. Honestly, and I'm surprised a judge isn't going to just sign that and say, yeah, this is a frivolous lawsuit. Because it is a frivolous lawsuit. Because at the end of the day, and by the way, just for those who don't know, frivolous in terms of like legal terminology references when a case is disingenuous or it's basically there's just no grounds for it. For example, Twitch recently filed against, that, I don't know if people would remember this, but there's that dude who's trying to sue Twitch about Twitch thoughts because he jerked off to him, and he's a sex addict and shit. Yeah, well, recently Twitch filed for that to be dismissed under the guise that it's a frivolous lawsuit, meaning they don't want to waste the money to go to court over something that's clearly just plain as day bullshit. So they filed for that to be frivolous. If I were Apple, I would file for this to be also frivolous. Because at the end of the day, when you get down to the basics of it, I would explain to the judge that, hey, they signed the dotted line agreeing to this system. They asked for an exemption, yes, but we denied them. We told them no. And then they went behind our backs anyway and tried to create a subversion of that signed agreement. We then banned them under what is perfectly within our legal rights. And they then armed their audience aggressively to attack us. And the thing is, there's also some defamation here as well. If you pay attention to some of the Apple fanboys and stuff and some rumors that are being spread around about like Apple employees and executives and stuff, there is some semblance of argument for defamation as well. But I'd say if I were Apple, I wouldn't go after that. And it's kind of a weak case to accuse Epic of defamation, but they've certainly got grounds to get this dismissed because it's a pretty clear-cut legal case. Epic is in the wrong, Apple's in the right. And the only way that they could win this case is if they created a law that stated that what Apple is doing is considered a digital monopoly. And that has never happened in the history of the U.S. Judicial system. Creating a law on the spot. No, that doesn't happen.
And I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No, because the thing is, to create a law, there's so much of a process in it. You have to create a bill, you got to send it to the House. There's actually a song about it, Jesus Christ. But there's no way they could just invent a law on the spot to give Epic the advantage here. They're legally in the wrong. And I have no idea why they're doing this, because right now I cannot see what they have. And Microsoft can back them all they want, but that's not changing the situation. And that's not going to give them magically an advantage. Again, I'm not seeing what kind of legal finagling they're going to do to win this. I don't know, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not, and I also don't have like all the legal stuff in front of me. I don't know what they have. Maybe they have something that would fall under the current U.S. law's definition of a monopoly, but I can't imagine what it could be. I don't know. It's a bit shady. And even then, it's still a stretch to say it's a monopoly, because again, there's the Google Play Store for Android. So it's not like they're the only digital mobile platform. So even then, on that grounds, they're still not a monopoly. I think it's because the president is making moves against the Chinese market, so this may be retaliatory? I don't know if I'm going to indulge that, and I'm also not sure if that's related or not. I've seen no evidence to see that is related, but it might be in the background. But I wouldn't think so. Not directly, anyway. You still there, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. He's like, did he fall asleep? He's like,
No.
He's talking about monopolies. When will they shut up?
No, it's not that. Just something funny happened off to the side.
Off to the side?
Yeah.
What?
Hold on. I'll just DM it to you. It'd be better that way. But anyway, I don't really have much more on Apple versus Epic. all I know is that they're getting the they are getting the they're getting half of what they want, and I kind of get why, because it's technically under two different companies, but at the same time, it's just kind of meh to me. I don't give a shit either way.
Yeah. Carneth Corn, Epic is owned, I think 5% of Epic is owned by Tencent, so that statement's a little off. Yes, they are partially owned by the Chinese government, but we're talking about a 5% margin. Now, that's nothing to snuff at. When we're talking about $1 billion company, that's like millions. But that's still 5% out of 100. So 95% is not owned by China. Not going to say that 5% doesn't influence anything. It does, for sure. But not to the degree that what you said implied. If I were Epic, if I were the CEO anyway, I wouldn't let 5% affect me in the sense of actually attacking Apple. That's just going to tank their company altogether for a 5% share. Yeah, I'm totally going after that. Yeah, no, I wouldn't waste the energy. Not gonna lie, if anime gets banned, the weebs will riot. Probably. Tencent is just a CCP shell company that is pushing its political influence into the gaming industry. Yeah, it is. I mean, everybody knows that. No worse, Tencent own 40%. They own 40% now? Never mind.
I heard that.
Last I checked, they only owned 5%, but that was years ago. Do they own 40% now? If they own 40%, then I recant my previous statement. Tencent stock.
Tencent. Okay, they equate to about 40% of total Epic. So yeah, they had about 40%.
Fuck. Okay, never mind. So, no, this could be actually politically charged retaliation then. This could definitely be that. Well, shit.
From what I understand, Blizzard is no longer its own company. Blizzard is owned by Activision, so you'd have to see how much of Activision is owned by Tencent as well.
Yeah, that is also something you'd have to check. Since 2013? Could have sworn it was 5% like 2 years ago.
I just looked it up. No, in 2012.
I swear it was 5% a year ago. Maybe I'm thinking of a different company? I don't know. But yeah, I recant my previous statement. If it's 40%, then yeah, it's very much possible that it's politically charged retaliation. But even then, that's kind of a dumb business move for Tencent. I mean, tank one of your few chains to the country against Apple. I don't know how that would help them. Actually, kind of makes me worried that that Microsoft is backing Epic now. Yeah. Well, technically, Moraine, they already took over the gaming industry, if we're talking about, like, worldwide. China already owns, like, I don't know, 80% of the mobile market. Excuse me. But yeah, even...
I remember hearing about Diablo Immortal, but I didn't pay any attention to it.
Really? You missed out on some awesome memes.
I probably did, but...
Oh, no, you did.
Yeah.
You missed out on some awesome memes.
It's not important to me. It really wasn't.
Alright, so I think we talked about this enough. Unless there's some last bits. Or did we get through all of it? I think we got all
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Alrighty, next topic then, before we get down the Chinese government hole. Alright, so this next one's mine, so I'll head this. Logan Paul quitting YouTube. I honestly don't know too much about this, other than he's made some statements about wanting to move on to better things. The controversial star teases split from platform. So we'll actually just read through this. Well, actually, let's do what we've never done before and actually read through all of it and then talk about it at the end. Because usually we stop halfway through. Social media star Logan Paul revealed that he doesn't want to be a YouTuber forever, hoping to branch out into other areas of media and content creation in the future. In an interview with Access on December 18th, whoever wrote this needs to learn to add the if and the ist at the end of dates. Anyway, December 18th, Paul claimed that he is tired of the YouTuber label and wants to move on from his controversial past, namely his widely denounced scandal from early 2018, where he filmed a deceased person for a vlog on Japan's Aokigahara. I still don't know if that's the proper pronunciation. Aokigahara, or Suicide Forest. I see myself as so much more than the controversial YouTuber, Paul explained. I have a little bit of an uphill battle currently, my fault, but I think the stigma of being a YouTuber is getting old. It's time for me to exceed expectations. Paul went on to admit that he has had to censor his content since the debacle and finds it difficult to create content with his viewers that his viewers will watch. Additionally, Paul claimed that he prefers his new impulsive. Oh, that's fucking stupid. Is impulsive. I didn't realize that was the name of the podcast. I knew he had a podcast, but that's the name of it. Impulsive. Fuck you guys. No, that's so dumb. Really fuck. I'm not. How do we move on from that? Podcast to create vlogs, arguing that it is harder for him to be taken out of context in such a setting. Not really. I mean, anything we say on this podcast can be taken easily out of kind of context. The
Very much so.
YouTuber also revealed that he is diving into the music industry and expressed some concern that genre of choice may be a little bit out there. Out there. It doesn't do rap, like white, like really like shitty rap, but still. Despite Paul's rough start in 2018, that's one way to put it. Rough start. Let me film a dead man. Yeah, this is perfectly. Yeah, if that's what they call rough, what would they call monstrous?
I have no idea. Some of the shit he's done, I'm surprised he is not in jail at someone's bitch at this point.
He should be in jail. In my opinion, he should be in the Japanese jail for what he did. Filming seriously, and the worst thing is, to give him some leniency, though this is like the most minute of leniencies. I remember having watched the full clip before it was taken down. His fucking like yes men crowd were all encouraging him to film it, as he was asking if he should do something else. One of them even said like, let's take the camera over there. So it's not like it was just him in this situation that made the really evil, bad decision. He was surrounded by a bunch of dipshits who supported it. So to give him that small lifeline, it wasn't all on him. He was just the face of the issue. I think his entire squad there are a bunch of shitheads. And the fact that people had to tell them, filming a dead guy who committed suicide isn't exactly the kindest thing you could do. You know, you could do, I don't know, 1 billion better things. Maybe, kind of, sort of, possibly. Like, I don't turn the camera off, call the authorities, get out of the fucking forest that you were intending to apparently sleep in. Yeah, by the way, that's one thing I don't hear enough people acknowledge, is that they were planning on camping out in the forest, which I think is illegal. They don't quote me, I'm not Japanese, but obviously. But I'm pretty sure that forest has a lot of regulations. Like, you're also not supposed to go off trail. Like, PewDiePie mentioned this because he's actually been to the forest as well. He didn't film it. And, which, by the way, again, kudos to Pewds for doing the basic human decency. And things he didn't even find a dead body, as far as I'm aware. But he stated in his video talking about the Logan Paul situation back in 2018, when he talked about it, he was actually really mad at Logan you could tell, because he was like seething. But he's like, you didn't know you couldn't go off trail. So they were supposed to stay on trail, and like the douchebags they got off trail. So, I don't know, that was the shittiest part. But anyway, let me get through this, because not to bring up the old stuff. Despite Paul's rough start in 2018, his year has been successful overall, even landing in Forbes' list of top 10 highest earning YouTubers. Yay, he makes a lot of money. With a projected yearly income of $14.5 million. With his impulsive, podcast featuring celebrity guests like Josh Peck and Brandon Schaub. Who? It looks like Paul is setting his sights on bigger prospects. I'm not the kind of I'm not a person who believes someone can't do better. I very much believe in redemption. I haven't been following Logan in his embetterment, I guess you could say, the last year or so. So I have no frame of reference on if he has truly improved. I've seen other YouTubers talk about it, like I think who's the one I'm thinking of? Antoine, I think. He's Antoine Bendelli. Don't quote me. There's a YouTuber who does like animated shorts talking about like YouTube drama and stuff like that. He's awesome animator. fucking love his videos. And he talked about that Logan was getting better over these last years. So I tend to want to believe that Logan is actually trying to be a better person. And the thing is, a lot of people, I've seen some clips of like the podcast, and some people have done little edited clips showing like a side-by-side of like the people who surrounded him during the Suicide Forest stuff and the people who surround him now. Like the people who surrounded him back then were like yes men. They were like, yes, let's do this. Think of the views. But now he's surrounded by people who call him out on his shit. Apparently, like if he says something dumb, they'll say like, dude, that's stupid. And I think that's like, for me, that's like the biggest sign that if it's true, and if it's like a regular thing, it's not like once or twice they've called him out. Like they actually call him out when he makes like a bad call. I think if he's surrounding himself with the right kind of people, and he is trying to do better, I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, oh, well, because he was a douchebag for so many years, he can't be better now. No. I fully believe that if he is actually giving a shit, if he's actually trying, and he's surrounding himself with the right people, who am I to say that he can't be a better person now? I still think what he did is shitty, but I usually tend to go by the old adage, I am ready to forgive, but I'm not ever ready to forget. I will always remember the shit that you do or have done, but I will not always hold it against you. But it's always good to remember the kind of things we've done in the past. And the thing is, you don't necessarily need to remember the bad shit people have done because you should use that to judge them now. You should remember it to see how they've improved, to see how they've bettered themselves. And I think, again, if it's true that he's actually trying to shed this douchebag YouTuber, the term escapes me, label, he's trying to shake that and he's genuinely giving a shit, I say give him that shot. Don't forget what he did, but remember it when he fucks up next time. That way you can comedically make fun of both situations, or remember it to give to show like a side by side of how he's gotten how he's grown as a person. Remember for either or both reasons.
I agree with that to an extent. It depends on how he fucks up. If he does something like really dumb, okay, like so he hasn't changed. If he does something that anyone can do, then it's like, okay, so he's not doing stupid shit. He just did something everyone does. I'm all for people. I really am kind of a devil's advocate. I do think that anyone can change. I don't think it's likely for some people, but anyone can change.
Yeah, and that's what I am. That's what I'm advocating, I guess.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm not following Logan's stuff at all. I'm not a fan. I don't even really like him, but I don't hate him like other people. I definitely think he made, honestly, to almost borderline evil decision to film a dead person, and I would never. It doesn't matter if I'm surrounded by yes men or not. I'm not gonna film that. You can't. It feels weird that he had to be told basic human decency.
Right.
Like,
I mean, there's some people that just don't fucking have that.
Yeah, and that's what's weird. The thing is, I can chalk that up to his environment as a child. He grew up in Hollywood with a bunch of, with the most pompous people on the planet. So you could make the argument that he's always been surrounded by in a moral sense, the worst of the worst. People who would, sacrifice their best friends for a little bit more fame and notoriety. He's probably been surrounded by this entire life, so maybe he wasn't raised with what I would consider a normal human, like, moral compass. Does that mean he's a sociopath? Does that mean he will never have that? I don't know. I tend to want to give people the chance, but yeah. I forgive, but I don't forget. I won't forget the shit you do, but I'll certainly give you the opportunity to earn the forgiveness part. Thing is, it's not my place to forgive him anyway. It's the family of the man who was deceased. I'm curious. The thing is, I may be curious, but I don't think I want to actually get their side of things on this. I'm curious, but at the same time, I'm sure they probably want to move on just as much as Logan does. I would think.
Yeah.
Anyway. But anyway, getting a bit of a buffering issue apparently on the stream. Are you seeing that?
I saw it earlier, but that was due to my internet was like, I'm gonna have a stroke.
Anybody else seeing a bit of a lag right now?
I'm honestly not seeing one on the stream. Now, granted, I'm 30 seconds behind you, though.
Okay.
I'm going to teach you what ultra low latency is. I'm going to beat you with one of your own monitors till you learn what it is. You have better internet than me. You should be using it.
I think I have better internet than you. Sometimes I don't know. No lag, no
Yeah,
buffering.
no one's...
Alright,
yeah.
so it's just YouTube telling me there's an error, but not explaining the error. Got it. But yeah, I would wrap it up with saying, yeah, I don't like what Logan did at all, but I do think he should be given the opportunity to be a better person and have the opportunity to shake the reputation. I'm not one of those diehard, I hate the Pauls. I hate Jake Paul quite a bit, but that's because I don't think I've seen him get any better ever.
Right.
So, give Logan a chance. I don't know about Jake. Last thing I saw was him looting a store. So,
And I mean, you know, from the stuff I've told you behind the scenes, like I'm actually going through something similar of having to deal with my sins of the past catching up to.
yeah.
So that might be why I'm a little bit more forgiving in this case, I guess would be the word. But it's like, I'm always one, if someone not only says they've changed, but is actively showing it, I don't see why not let them.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, it looks like he's trying at least. But anyway, that's that one. If he does quit YouTube, I wish him luck in future endeavors. Alright, next one is yours. Halo Infinite Dev.
I'm surprised you didn't catch this one.
No, I didn't.
So there was a leak about Halo Infinite. That they were only going to run on PC and PlayStation 4? Yeah. They were going to run on PC and PlayStation. Fuck it, it'll be easier that way. And that they were actually going to cancel.
You sure you don't mean PC and Xbox?
No, because the rumor was they were going to cancel the Xbox One version. Oh yeah, you might be right.
Because the thing is, Microsoft owns 343, and they own Halo, and Halo's always been a Microsoft problem.
I fucked up.
That's okay.
So the rumor was they were going to cancel the Xbox One release and just release on PC. Well, the game developer came out and essentially is like, no, this is not true. We're releasing it on both. Where are you morons hearing this? So this is one that's just more of kind of taking this one. This will be a really quick one because it's just a funny little story. Because it's just an outlandish leak. Even assuming it were true, like why? Why would you not release one of the biggest Xbox titles on Xbox? It just doesn't make sense. And there were a lot of people that believed it. So eventually the developer came out and was like, no.
As long as the game's on PC, I don't give a shit if it releases on console or not.
Yeah, but they are saying that there are no plans currently to change their 2021 release date.
I'm glad to hear that they're not changing it.
Yeah, or
at the same time, I'm kind of worried. But
platforms they'll be supporting.
Yeah, I did think I saw something about it being canceled, but I don't think I actually checked it out. But it's good to hear that that's just a rumor that they're still trying to maintain this.
Yeah, because apparently, so apparently, there were two rumors, and they actually shoot down both of them in the same sentence. And it wasn't in the headline. I just saw the headline like, "Hey, this is funny," and I read, and I skimmed through it. Not gonna lie. The other rumor was they're delaying the game until 2022, but that's also a lie. That they are planning on still going for 2021 as of right now. And by the way, I can say this: I played Xbox since Xbox Original, and I just recently got a gaming PC. And as much as I was full on console before, there are some games that are better on console than they are on PC, but there are not very many. I mean, there's like
I definitely prefer PC. It's just fucking like that's it. I prefer PC through and through. I don't miss the console days.
Well, like one game that's really hard for me to play on PC because I have done it is like Final Fantasy VII. I prefer that one on console to PC, but like.
Well, the thing is, on PC you can still use the controller.
I'm lazy. Well, I have to because I stream to my computer to record, so I kind of have to.
You know what game I want to? I know this is completely random. It just popped in my head like a second ago. But you know what game I want to get back into?
That we do?
I don't know. We try and do these in a scheduled manner. It doesn't fucking work, but we try. The random thought. I kind of want to get back into playing Monster Hunter World. Because the last time I played that was like 6 months ago. I have no idea why that came in my head when we were talking about Halo.
It's funny you say that. I've been thinking about getting back in it recently. So I've told you about where I was a cook. And me and the manager and the other cook were really tight. Me and the other cook played Monster Hunter World on our off days. Because we usually had the same day off. So we would just, on the days we had off, we would just play that all day.
I don't think I ever got good at it.
Oh. It's not a matter of getting good. It's just getting to a tolerable level.
Getting to that tolerable level. Alright. So, looks like it's not canceled. That's good.
Well, it's not canceled. It's not delayed. All that good shit.
Okay. This next one, I'm sure we both have lots of thoughts on. It's not an article, and I'm not gonna play it. Well, I might play it. Like, I don't know.
Let me. I have to scroll up because I don't really remember what it was. Because we went on so many. Oh yeah, the Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably won't play it because the Suicide Squad thing got us nuked last time, so I'll just leave that up.
And we're talking about that again.
Yay!
Although we're just showing the article, we're not going to share the trailer, so it's.
Yep. Let's find a good What's a good?
I hope he does not do the Christian Bale like fucking fake ass deep voice thing. That will make it dumb.
Maybe, I don't know. It depends on like how he'd do it. Like if he's gonna, then no, it's gonna be memed yet again, and this time with the Twilight Vampire doing it.
I was gonna say I was about to make the joke.
But if it's more like he's just like gravel, if it's more like he's just deepening his voice more than normal, I'm fine with that. Like pretty much every Batman has done that. Pretty much every, except for Adam West. He's the only one who was like, I'm gonna talk like this and like this, no matter what. Yet somehow, despite the completely unique voice that I have, no one ever figures out who the fuck I am.
To be fair, he was one of the better Batmans just because of the insanity.
Yeah.
He carried a bomb down a pier.
He had shark repellent as well.
He had shark repellent on his belt.
Oh god, love that man. Love that man so much. God damn it. Well, anyway, so when it comes to the Batman official trailer with Robert Pattinson. Okay, for some reason like it was starting to like leak away. I only remember him as like Edward from Twilight, so he's
done a few other things, and from what I understand, I have not watched anything outside of Twilight. I love Twilight. The only reason I've watched it is because my wife loves it. Here's my thought. What I've been told is he's actually a really good actor. Twilight was just a bad role.
The thing is, he is a good actor. If you've seen him in other stuff, he does do good performances. But like, it's kind of like with the Keanu Reeves thing. It's just like with that. It's like the Matrix.
Robert Pattinson.
The Matrix defined Keanu Reeves like.
Yeah.
A lot of people could not see him in any other role after that. He just kind of set the tone for like forever.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's that guy who doesn't emote at all. Like, he has no emotion. It's like, no, if you saw any performance he'd done before that, you'd know that he had a really wide range of facial expressions, emotional outbursts. He could act. The thing is, I blame the directors. The Wachowskis fucking ruined his public view for years.
Let's not get started with the shit they fucking ruined, okay? Because then we'll have to talk about how they ruined the Matrix, how it's supposedly a fucking metaphor for a transitioning person.
I'm not gonna.
Let's just not get into shit that they've ruined. Because
Batman, yes, Batman. So the Batman. So, what is it you do or don't know about like this Batman universe? And by the way, to address this real quick, because Punishment 90 said he literally does the Batman grunt voice near the end of the trailer. Yes, but the thing is, that's not indicative of like what his voice is going to sound like throughout the whole movie. Because the thing is, if it's the same scene like the one we're showing on screen right now, if it's that same scene that you're talking about where he says vengeance, the thing is, he just got done like beating the fuck out of a guy. So
yeah.
It's quite possible he just is grunting the one time. He doesn't necessarily indicate that that's how he's going to sound throughout the whole movie. So what we're talking about with like the gravel voice is if he does it literally the entire time. So we don't know if that's going to be the whole film or not. We'll see. But in terms of what you thought of the trailer and what you know of what this Batman is like, what do you know? And how do you feel?
Next to nothing, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
The couple things I do know, I'm really interested to see how Robert Pattinson does. I thought Ben Affleck would be a hilariously bad fit for Batman. He did a decent job.
What I find weird is a lot of the actors, especially when it comes to like the Batman performances, people like, for example, people thought Heath Ledger was like the worst possible choice for the Joker. Because the only thing people mostly knew him for before that was like A Knight's Tale, where he played the blonde pretty boy knight figure.
He's always had, well, so with the exception of like later movies like Lords of Dogtown, Heath Ledger has always kind of had like this either pretty boy or surfer boy role. He started doing like darker and darker roles as he got older, and then he did the Joker. So it was a little out of his wheelhouse. There were some that he did before that were kind of dark, but I think it was actually he'd be at least my top 2 of Jokers. It's really between him and Mark Hamill.
I'd say I'd have him at number 1. I love Mark Hamill, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to performances that the thing is, it's Mark Hamill. If I had only ever seen him in the performance once, he would definitely be my second. He would definitely be memorable, really good. But the reason I think a lot of people put him at the tippy top is he had so much time to get the character down. He had a lot of time. He had a lot of years to work on the role and to get comfortable with it. And not to mention, again, the length of time helps people remember him more fondly because he had so much time to stick with the character. I think for that reason, that's why people put Mark Hamill at such a high pedestal with the character. And I'm not saying it's not well earned, but I think if he had only had one performance to get it down, would he be as memorable as he was with his one performance? I don't know if I'd say yes. I'd say he definitely would be up there, but would he be comparable? I don't know. Not first time, not necessarily.
And this is also more of a subjective thing, because I also don't think any of the Jokers were bad. I think they all did something right.
Really?
What? Yes.
Really?
Yes, I absolutely. Yes.
Including Suicide Joker?
Including Jared Leto, yes.
Oh my god.
He did the insanity aspect of the Joker well. He was a poorly designed character, but he did pull off the Joker's insanity very well. especially if you look towards some of the comics. He pulled off that nihilistic insanity that was just great. He gave no shits about anyone or anything, only about just causing mayhem. And the two, I think, that pulled that off the best were Heath Ledger and Jared Leto. Just that one specific aspect. Overall, Heath Ledger was a better Joker. Overall, Jared Leto was probably one of the bottom Jokers, but I like them all.
I didn't like Leto's performance at all. Like, there's insanity, which it's not. Joker's not just insane. It's a lot about the character and how his, not only his style, his performance, the way he talks, the way he moves, the way he plans. So the thing is, there's something sensible in the insanity that makes the Joker so likable as a character. It's not just pure insanity. There's, again, something creepily sensible. It's kind of like the same reason people like the character of Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is a cannibal who eats people. But people still end up liking the character because he's suave. He has a gentlemanly way of talking. He's intellectual. And the thing is, you can clearly always feel he's almost in control of every situation he's involved in.
Fender actually worded it a little bit better. Jared Leto's performance, he made the Joker better than what it originally was designed. That design for the Joker was the worst designed out of all the Jokers. But Leto made it, I wouldn't even say passable, just made it okay. He made it better than what it was without him.
I'll take your word for that on that, because things I don't know if anyone could have made the makeup work. That's for sure.
But and it's one of the things where I think, like exactly what you said earlier with The Matrix. This is a case, I believe, of the director ruining something.
Director and makeup artist, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, makeup artists definitely just, I don't know what they would think.
I have no idea why they made him look like... I don't even know what to compare that to. Like, there are, like, real gangsters who would have, like, only a third of those tattoos.
My Rain said brains is also needed for a good villain, not just the madness. I will point you now to Angron.
I don't think Angron's a good villain.
He is a good villain.
No, he's not. He's just a ball of rage. He just hates and is angry at everything. It's
like I said about the Space Wolves. He can back it up.
Great, he can back it up because he's tough, but he's still a simplistic villain. It's just, I hate everything. I'm angry all the time.
What? Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is, Angron is a smart boy. Oh, back that the fuck.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Angron is a smart boy. Yeah, he only almost got killed by humans. He couldn't take over his world. And then, because everyone else had to suffer, he implanted the Butcher's nails in his entire legion, damning them all to corn. Yeah, he was a smart boy, all right.
Yeah, no.
By the way, that was Jorge that said he was a smart boy.
Yeah, I think he was joking.
Jackson said, what about Magnus? Magnus was a good boy, and Magnus did nothing wrong. His ego got the better of him.
Anyway, back on track with the Batman thing.
Sorry.
Tangent. It's like we're Oprah with tangents. It's like, you get a tangent, you get a tangent, you get a tangent. Everybody gets a tangent.
Oh my god.
Oh, sweet Jesus. All right. So with this new Batman, in terms of my perspective, did you get through? You got through all of yours, right? Like your
one left to go, but it's related to this one.
All right. So with my perspective on this trailer and looking forward, I know some background information about the film. Like it's taking place in year 2 of Batman in his run as the Batman, as Bruce Wayne. This is his 2nd year.
Okay.
So he's been Batman for 2 years at the beginning of this film. So he's established, he's known, and he's clearly friends with Gordon. The thing is, when you look at the casting, Gordon, well, there's not a Commissioner Gordon, but there's a Commissioner, I can't remember his name. But there's another commissioner right now. So in year 2, it's quite possible that we're just dealing with Lieutenant Gordon. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see, like, okay, is this film gonna explore like Gordon becoming the commissioner? Like, and the other thing. Oh, go ahead.
That would be cool, but honestly, I wouldn't do that. I would use this film to solidify Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
Well, no, I'm talking about as like a subplot. As like a subplot.
Well, no, in the next film, do it as a subplot. This way, in this film, everyone focuses on Robert Pattinson. In the next film, they're like, wait a minute, Gordon's the commissioner? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So that way, it gives it its own like fair shake. Like, okay, we're used to Sparkly Boy being the fucking Batman. So now we can deal with everything else that comes afterwards.
Yeah. I do want them to focus on the Batman, but it's just a subplot idea. The Catwoman's clearly in the movie.
Of course.
The thing is, I'm not against that if they do it right. Like, if it's just, if they don't do her justice, I'm not gonna be happy about it. But I mean, she's shown here stealing stuff in the trailer. Let's see if I can find the spot.
The only way they could make this funnier is make Catwoman the chick from Twilight. I don't even remember her name.
It's not. I checked the casting. It's
no, I know, but that would be funnier because
it would be funny, like from the aspect of like a meta movie carryovers. Yeah. But I think for the sake of the actual film itself, I don't think it would do it any favors.
I think for the sake of any film, she doesn't need any acting jobs. But that's a case of bad actor. But no, the reason is because in most iterations, Batman and Catwoman have a romantic relationship.
Yeah. I don't know if you picked this up from the trailer, but I was trying to pay close attention. It looks like the movie is going to explore. The thing is, one thing I'm really excited about this movie is it's taking on the more detective aspect of Batman.
Okay.
Because the thing is, that's always been a big part of who Batman is from his earliest comic books, he was always like a detective who was also a superhero. So that has always been a core identity aspect to the Batman. And in a lot of films, they kind of have it as a background detail, but it's never been like the driving force is the detective work, is the exploring the case. Like they don't treat it like what's a good example? The movie with Morgan Freeman and...
Praise be to you, mighty donator.
Thank you, Murder Skitten, for the super chat. Any chance to see Batman and on Batgirl? Say, oh, no, it's gross.
I was about to make a joke and then I had to stop myself.
Yeah,
it was gonna be at Netflix's expense. I'll just say
that. No more of that shit. That was disgusting. The fact that was in the Killing Joke still disgusts me. But, yeah, I am happy to see that there is going to... by the way, I'm just going based on looks, of course. But first impressions, it looks like there's going to be a detective aspect to it. There's going to be an investigation. The movie's going to follow Batman trying to uncover who the bad guy is. I'm happy for what seems like the first time there's actually a true detective like story with the Batman.
I have to use the restroom, but Carneth Corn asked a really funny question.
Which Batgirl? I hope not the paralyzed one.
Yeah.
Well, it's year 2, so no.
Which actually, I think she was Batgirl, got shot, and then she became Oracle, if I remember right. But anyway,
yes, Oracle came like the what would you call it? The tech girl, tech head. Yes. Joker was the one who paralyzed her. That was a huge aspect about the Killing Joke too. But I am happy to see it looks like anyway it's going to be a detective story. From what I was able to pick up from the trailer, it looks like the mayor is killed here. There's no more lies. If you pay close attention throughout, it looks as though It says no more lies, which I think imply like there's kind of like a popcorn bag here. I don't know what aspect that might not be a popcorn bag. It might be like they're putting like it might be like a police, like they're covering his hand for some reason. But it might also be placed by the killer. There's clear like in terms of like how they're filming it, it's kind of filmed like one of those gritty detective stories, like kind of a darker hue, a little bit of like a shaded grays here. Not very well lit, except then they make the lights pop a lot more. Lies, and you see dawn referenced all over the place. So I'm thinking like that's the mayor. The mayor is killed, and the lies might be referenced to maybe corruption, maybe voter influence, something like that. That might be an aspect that's being detected. The green on the envelope and the again, this is what also leads credence to the detective idea, is that there's again, the way that the trailer is filmed, it's almost like it's one of those kinds of TV shows or movies that you see advertised. Is the whole thing, despite it being a Batman trailer, is very much coming off as like a story about the Batman investigating a story. So I'm very curious about that. The green envelope. Oh, thank you, Reverend Norse, for the super chat. Thank you. What is the potion flasks you drink? So, the potion flasks? Deliciousness incarnate. Helps me get through my day. I hope that answers your question. It's actually a mix of drinks. I mix some drinks up and I funnel them in here, and I intentionally drink them out of here so you guys don't know what I'm drinking. It's a secret.
Praise be to you, mighty donator.
There goes the alert. Okay. But yeah, the green envelope gives me the impression that it's going to be the Riddler. Might not be, though. This might be a more background villain from the comics that I'm not aware of. It could be like a proto Riddler. It may not even be a Riddler. But I think Riddler is usually the one people turn to when they look at like the more detective aspects of the Batman and his stories. The Riddler is usually the main villain when it comes to the detective stories, because he has the riddles, he has the traps, he has a lot of like, again, those typical, like, I guess you could say the Moriarty to Batman Sherlock Holmes. That's usually how Riddler operates. Joker is seen as Batman's greatest villain, but that was later. I think definitely in the early comics it was actually the Riddler that was seen as his antithesis, because back when the comics were mostly revolving around the detective stories and less about a superhero beating up the bad guys, which it became more of later. They never got rid of the detective aspect, which I'm happy about, but the Riddler was, I think, considered the original main villain for Batman when it came to the detective stories, because, again, he has the riddles, the traps, you have to solve this, or this will happen in this room. He was like the Saw villain, almost. And again, he acted as Moriarty to Batman Sherlock Holmes. Joker ends up adopting a lot of those aspects as well, to, again, maintain that, antithesis to Batman. Yeah. And adding on top of like the riddles and the traps and the stories, he also adds in the madness of it. So I think that's why Joker eventually became the great antagonist or the arch enemy of Batman. But originally, it seemed more like Riddler was the antithesis of Batman.
Well, I'll say this: I think I know why. The Riddler's goal was to outsmart Batman. The Joker's goal was to prove him and Batman were one and the same.
Yeah.
Also, I know I missed it, but the super chat from Noise was the potion flask you drink sometimes, Aspen.
No, I
Tears the best JWs.
Not really. It's actually delicious.
I know, but that's just a funny.
Oh, god.
I feel bad. I mean, I really don't, but.
Suggestion for future podcasts: get the shots you want to talk about in advance, showing them like this might trigger you. Though I'm not 100% sure on that count. Well, the thing is, when it comes to how we handle this podcast, we do find the articles and the videos and everything beforehand, and we talk about them. Yeah. in terms of the Suicide Squad stuff, I just had the trailer playing silently and I had it cropped because that's transformative. You know, it's in a minimized format. It's silent. It shouldn't have triggered anything, but for some reason, again, our whole podcast got taken down, which is shady as fuck.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make a lick of sense why our podcast was nuked for that. Because, again, in every sense, it was transformative. Thank you, Punishment90, for the super chat, $2. Thank you. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Long Halloween is a detective story inspired this. Ooh, okay, so there's an actual direct story inspiring this. Don't tell me it. I don't want to know. But thank you for
Praise be to you, mighty donator.
But yeah, I'm curious to see if they're gonna have like either a proto Riddler or Riddler himself in a different format. But that's all being based on just again like the green envelope, and it looks like there's symbols here, and haven't a clue. Let's play a game. Just me and you, and then none of this is like a riddle. But it might involve a riddle later. Again, it might not even be the Riddler. I'm just going based off the green envelope and the fact that, again, this is a pure detective story. And typically when I think of, like, the best antagonist for detective stories, Riddler's usually at the top of my list. And I would like to see the Riddler get some justice as well, since the only Riddler, like we've seen, like, the movies, like...
Jim Carrey.
Was what? Jim Carrey? Yeah. And... Listen, I love Jim Carrey, and I love those movies because I find them campy as fuck, and I like to laugh at them. I like to watch them to laugh at. But are they actually good Batman movies? No. I want to see the Riddler be given, like, a good... Is there a question mark? The thing is there? I don't know. I didn't see any question marks, so that could definitely be... There's a question mark right there. What does Okay, wait, hold up. This actually might be a cropped riddle right here. What does, again, it's cropped in, a liar, blank, win, blank, dead. That might be, again, actually this lends credence to my belief that this is the Riddler. Because this might be a riddle. I can't tell because it's cropped out. All we got is what does liar, win, dead. But it might, again, the rest of the riddle's cropped, so I can't tell if it even is a riddle.
I will say that Jim Carrey is one of those people I like in small doses. If I watch too much of him, I get really pissy really quick. Oh god.
You okay?
Yeah, he has enough energy for about 5 people at the same time. And it's one of those things where, you know, I like it in short doses, but one of those roles I actually liked the least was probably his Riddler role. Because I didn't see it as a Riddler, I just saw like...
Well, the Riddler's never been this high energy. Like, he played it like a mixture of the Joker, the Riddler, and like himself.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like either. I don't think that he did any kind of justice to the character.
Right.
He was just poorly cast. The whole movie was poorly cast, though, to be honest.
I don't know. Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face was kind of cool. But I like Tommy Lee Jones, though. He's just...
I like Tommy Lee Jones for Tommy Lee Jones, but I don't know if I don't know if I'd like him in the role of Two-Face. Him, Jim Carrey, everybody played their roles really dumb and goofy in those movies with the bat nipples and shit. I don't know. Everything was played up so goofy.
I think that was the point of those movies, was to be a little bit over the top.
I didn't mind Val Kilmer though. I know this is weird, but I didn't mind Val Kilmer as Batman. I thought he was a bit dry at times. That's all.
If we're talking about people that were kind of like being super over the top with their roles, my favorite one was probably the worst one. That was Arnold.
I'm sorry, but even in that role, I still didn't mind it because something about Arnold's just so charismatic. I'm like, though you are completely butchering this awesome character, I fucking love you so much, man.
I love the part where
I can't be mad about this.
I love the part where he's singing along to "I'm Mr. White Christmas," and he's like, "Sing along," and they start singing along, like shaking in fear.
Shaking in fear and shaking in cold.
That's true too.
Frosty! Sorry, every time that man is like on screen in that movie, I can't help but laugh. It's the most amazing performance, I think. I love it. It makes that whole movie worth rewatching all the time. Fans have already solved one of the riddles from this trailer. Ah, God damn it. I like it when fans are like super excited and stuff like that, but really don't at least don't. Well, at the same time, I think it's okay if they solve the riddles for themselves, but like it's like sharing it everywhere. But even then, it's like I guess it's up to everybody else to spare themselves the spoilers. Me, I'm the kind of person that I don't want to solve the riddle beforehand. I like to actually challenge myself to do it while watching a movie. Like, I like to try and solve the riddles myself. While the movie's going on, see if I can beat Batman to the punch. Problem is like the first time, like, in a non-TV show sense, that we're getting, like, a good Riddler role. Again, hopefully this is Riddler. It does appear so. Green envelope. Green is his main color. It looks like this is a riddle on the side. What does a liar blank? What does blank liar blank win blank dead? This looks like it's a format for a riddle plus these symbols right here, and he's inviting him to play a game. That's how Riddler always referenced the riddles. It was a game. So I'm convinced we're dealing with the Riddler. I'm curious though, because the thing is, the shot of him we get at the beginning is of a dude with like duct tape all over himself. Let's see if I can pull it up.
So Punishment 90 said those Batman movies were terrible. Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are just so terrible. Arnold as Mr. Freeze is so bad it's good just for the one-liners. So you're half right, but you're also half wrong. Here's
what
why.
killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
So that aside, here's why. A lot of people would argue that the original Batman with Adam West was horrible. But it's not. It was meant for a different purpose. It was meant to be fun. It was meant to be campy as hell. These Batman movies were kind of the same, just not to the extreme that Adam West went. The newer Batmans are all meant to be darker, and they're more true,
darker, serious, more true to like the. Because the thing is, if we look at the age of the comics, like we have the Golden Age, the Silver Age, and the Modern Age. I think there's actually one more age in there somewhere. I only know of the three off the top of my head. So the Golden Age of comics was their initial releases back in like 1940 something, like way back in the day, like either just around World War II or just post World War II.
Right.
But with the initial Golden Age of the DC comics, anyway, I don't know about Marvel. I can't remember when Marvel got started initially, but for the sake of the argument. So DC comics were the Golden Age. The Golden Age comics, if you actually were to take a look at them, are actually kind of dark. The characters, especially the Batman comics, if we're talking about Batman specifically. With Batman, the original comics, the Joker was a serial killer that was killing people left and right, and Batman had to stop him. There was still the major detective angle. Then we look at the Silver Age. The Silver Age, what divides the Golden Age and the Silver Age was the fact that parents and this is the thing is, comics were like the original video games or original TV show or violent TV thing, that kind of thing. Comics were what was to blame back then, because radio never had that controversy. I don't know what happened with comics that started. I guess it's just the visual medium. But parents noticed that the comics were full of violent imagery, Joker killing people, shooting people, that kind of thing. And they were like, okay, these comics are for kids, though. Like, why look at all this violent stuff. Look at all these kids being encouraged to support and like violence and death and murder and stuff. And it's the same tired arguments they have for video games. So because of that, parents actually demanded that comics be censored for children. So that was officially done, and the government actually had to literally give a stamp of approval on all comics going out. And parents would look for that stamp when buying a comic. Now, the thing is, it wasn't legally a requirement for the companies to release the comics with this stamp of approval. But the thing is, the companies weren't brave enough to risk trying to make a full-blown comic and sell it, and then just for parents to look for that little symbol saying that it was approved. Because the thing is, again, they legally speaking, it would be against free speech if they didn't allow the comics to be sold. But the thing is, they would allow the comics to be sold with or without the that little stamp. But the threat was that, like, oh, if parents see that stamp isn't there and that it hasn't been approved as child safe, then I won't get it for my kids. Same as like the ESRB rating system for video games. But just like with the ESRB rating system, parents don't look for that stuff at maybe at first, when like the first controversy was like really lighting up and a lot of parents were on edge and were like, I need to protect my children. And we're looking for that symbol left and right. But later on, I think it was actually Marvel that subverted it, was like, okay, we're going to release a comic without this fucking symbol because we don't care. And parents at the time, the controversy was over. Parents were so used to the symbol just being there that parents would buy their kids Marvel comics without the symbol and not even realize that they got their kids basically what was a taste of the original kind of comics. We're taking more serious stories, more dramatic moments, more violence, blood, that kind of thing. And that would spell the end of the Silver Age. But the Silver Age Batman comics were very censored. The Joker was now a prankster. He was not a serial killer anymore. He was the Cesar Romero Joker. He was, that comical, like, oh, I'm just playing with you, Batman.
I would like to remind people that originally Batman had no qualms about using guns and shooting people.
Oh, no, definitely in the Golden Age. I think he actually straight up had a Glock or something.
He had 2 Glocks.
Yeah, he had guns. But Silver Age, I think, is when they also instigated like Batman and Superman and a lot of superheroes like codes of conduct. The Silver Age is solely responsible for basically making superheroes more, I guess, more noble than they even were in the original comics. Batman was no longer a detective who was packing. He was now just a detective who would fight with martial arts and beat his enemies into submission, but it would send them to jail. And Cesar Romero would be like, "Ow, you solved the puzzle. You win, Batman. I'll go to jail." Breaks out next week, does another prank, but nobody's lives were at stake.
Right. Well, they were. Like, if you watch the old Adam West, if you believed half of this shit, then yes, people's lives were in danger. See the case of the bomb at the pier.
Yeah.
But, I mean, realistically, no. No, it was just all campy goodness.
It was just all campy goodness. Silver Age comics were definitely campy as fuck. But, again, I'm pretty sure it was Marvel that started subverting and not getting approved for their stamp of like, oh, this is kid-friendly. And parents bought their kids what would become, I'm pretty sure, what we consider now the modern age of comics. It could, again, I'm not sure if there is a middle age between Silver and Modern Age. I think there is, but for the sake of it, I'll just say Modern Age because that's the only one I'm aware of past the Silver Age of comics. But let's say Modern Age, which is still going on now. With the Modern Age of comics, parents stopped caring. Like, if they stopped looking for that stamp of like, oh, is it safe for children? And it began the new age where, again, comic book writers and artists could actually be serious storytellers again. They weren't just releasing the latest kid fold of, campy stories anymore. They could actually tell serious, dark, grim stories, and that's when Batman became more of what we see him as now. The more, serious detective, but also mainly a superhero who beats the bad guys and came with the modern age. We have like stories like The Killing Joke. There's another one, Gotham Knights. We had a lot of like what we find is the more iconic Batman stories came with the modern age. The Golden Age, unfortunately, because of the Silver Age, we lost a lot of the badass stories that were going on during the Golden Age because of the Silver Age. But the modern age really showed that it made up for that kidifying of the product with the modern age and bringing Batman back to what he should have been, a dark knight who was a vigilante, yes, but he was a detective, he was a badass. They still carried over some things that they established during the Silver Age, like, his I won't kill rule kind of thing. Certain things were carried over, certain things weren't. But I'm glad we got, the old style, darker stories, basically what superheroes should have been the entire time if it weren't for the Silver Age.
I'm trying to find this for you. I'm trying to find an image of it. There was a special Spider-Man comic, and it had an advertisement for Twinkies. And in this article, Aunt May, Spider-Man's aunt, gained the powers cosmic of the Silver Surfer, and I shit you not, the Golden Oldie.
Golden oldie.
I wish this was a joke, but it's because I saw this off of Death Battle, and I'm trying to find a picture of it because this is the most hilarious thing you've ever
Bronze
seen.
Age. That might be what I'm thinking of. The Bronze Age came after Silver Age. That's probably what I'm thinking of when we talk about like the Killing Joke and other stories like that. I think those are actually Bronze Age. So Modern Age is what we're going on right now, but I think Bronze Age is what I'm thinking of that declared the ending of the Silver Age, if I'm not mistaken. But thank you. I don't know why I couldn't remember bronze. It's gold, silver, bronze, so that should have been easy to put together. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Okay, while you do this, I'm going to DM you this because this is I found the comic book cover and it is glorious.
Okay. To see it, I'd have to lower your video player.
I could probably. Oh no, because I don't share my screen.
Right, anyway, I'll be right back.
No, not that one. There it is. I have not seen the Joker having a new sidekick outside of Harley Quinn. Well, Jorge, the reason why modern comics are creatively bankrupt is because everything's been done. Literally. I mean, like, what are they going to do? Kill Superman? They already did it. And I use that because that's the most extreme example of what I can think of. In comic books and video games, everything's been done. It's just how well you can retell the story and put your own spin on it. And with comic books, they can't even... I do not know of the Fourth Age channel.
Alright. Sorry about that. I'm back. You still there?
I'm here.
Okay. Alright. Shame comic industry went or is going the way of the dodo. Check out the Fourth Age channel. He does great commentary on comics. I'm gonna check him out on my own time. Yeah. But I agree. Current comics is definitely going south. But not even because of anything like the Silver Age controversy with like parents and shit. It's just they're ruining it themselves now.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. One, I think it's because SJWs have infected everything. And two, I think it's also because every story that can be told has been told. Like, the most extreme example I can think of is, what are they going to do? Kill Superman? Oh, they've already fucking done it. How many times? So...
Yes, Moraine, you can take them off whenever you like. Sorry.
But yes, I sent you the picture of Aunt May as the Golden Oldie.
The Golden Oldie. I will check that out as soon as the stream is over. The Fourth Age channel does a great work explaining on how the comic industry changed for the worst and the reason why. Great channel. I'll check it out on my own time. Yeah. Is there
a movie with Killer Croc yet? Yeah, Suicide Squad.
That's about it. There's no off the top of my head, I don't think there's any movie where he's like the star villain, but he's never been a star villain. And when we if we look at the star villains for Batman, we look at Mr. Freeze, we look at the Riddler, Joker, obviously.
Yeah.
Perhaps Penguin. Penguins, if we look at like animated movies. We got Penguin, but Actually, no, the 80s movie.
Yep.
I almost
With,
forgot.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, almost forgot. I feel bad about that. But those are like the only like four main villains, both in the comics and in the movies, and usually in the cartoons. Killer Croc does get more starring in like animated series for sure, but he's still more of a villain of the week even in that case.
I will say that the two characters I like the most.
He's on the same wavelength as Clayface, really.
Who was the gangster in Suicide Squad?
The gangster.
El Diablo?
Yeah.
He was my absolute favorite out of Suicide Squad, and Killer Croc was my second favorite.
I'd say I like Diablo quite a bit too.
He almost had he had that tragic villain kind of vibe from
He did. What disappointed me was like they spent like 20 minutes total out of the whole film on it.
Yeah. Killer Croc was cool for me. He also came off as kind of a tragic villain, but not like Diablo, because in Diablo's case, I've always had a thing for, villains who turn evil because of some inner demon. I think that's really what the case with Diablo was. In the case of Killer Croc, he just got mutated. He got the Spider-Man treatment just with a crocodile. And a little bit more to a literal degree, I guess. Actually, I have to look this up now because I want to see what this is.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna move on now. Oh yeah, I didn't like it. Oops, there we go. To some of my thoughts, all in all, about the Batman official trailer, I'm cautious but casually optimistic. Optimistic. I'm prepared if it sucks, but actually another thing, I don't think the production is finished either, because they were in the middle of it when COVID quarantines were hitting.
So to stick with the DC news, the Suicide Squad game, they have released information finally.
All right, you take the lead on this one.
Huh?
You take the lead on this one.
So, have you ever played Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
No.
Okay, that's what the way they describe this. This reminds me very much so of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance gameplay. So it is for 1 to 4 players. It can be local or it can be local co-op or internet co-op, because words just fucking.
You mean split screen and internet?
Yeah, it can be split screen or co-op.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it's split screen because it doesn't split the screen. It's just you can all play on the same thing.
Well, it's still like the term I use is split screen. Even if you don't actually split the screen, you're still sharing the screen.
Jorge, you just agreed with me after you said you disagree. I disagree with you that all tales have been told. They might have been told, but they might not have been told well.
Well, to be fair, he's going off of your initial statement, which was they have all been told.
Right, but he even follows it up with they might have been told. I mean, so if you look at like the tragic hero or the fallen hero who becomes a villain, Arthas, and Arthas was not the first one by any stretch of the means.
Oh, I don't know.
If you look at tragic villains, I mean, we just list off Diablo.
In fact, the Arthas story is cookie cutter and is actually been done a million times. But the thing is, the reason people like it so much is the way it was done.
Right. No, and that's the thing. All stories have legitimately been told. It's just in the way they're told is what makes them different. Anyway. The other thing is even if you don't have 3 friends to play with, the other 3 will be taken over by the AI, very similar to Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And the playable character, of course, let's go ahead and get the first 2 out of the way, fucking Harley Quinn and Deadshot. Then you have King Shark, who I had to look up, and King Shark aesthetically makes me happy. It is literally an anthropomorphic shark. This pleases me. I don't know why, but this really does please me. And then Captain Boomerang, and that one, just to throw this little pun in here, threw me for a loop. I hate myself now. Anyway, so it's looking like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They only have a cast of 4 for right now. I wonder if they are going to expand it. I hope they do. That would be very awesome, or at least like have unlockable characters. I remember in the first game you could find hidden. You would unlock characters through just completing the story, and then you could find hidden unlockables and unlock other characters. For instance, they had Daredevil statues, they had Black Panther statues. If you collected all of them, you would unlock Daredevil and Black Panther respectively. So if they do something like that, that'd be really kind of cool. So with this one, I'm cautiously optimistic, but it's done by the people who do the Arkham games. So I'm also kind of like curious, cautiously optimistic. Sounds like a good idea to me, but can't wait to see what goes wrong.
I don't know. The Arkham games are pretty good, so I'd be curious to see how they handle this kind of game, though. A co-op game, I don't know. I'd be curious to see how it comes out. But I like the Arkham games, so.
That was part of it for me, too. But the part for me was kind of, and I shouldn't do this. I should not compare them to other games, because it's not what they are. But I was just thinking about comparing, like, the Arkham games and, like, mashing them together with Marvel Ultimate Alliance, what that would look like. And it sounds good on paper to me, but I enjoyed Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. So because I enjoyed those games, I'm a little bit more predisposed to be optimistic. But it's Suicide Squad, and they fucked that up once before. And from what I understand, they're actually making a second Suicide Squad movie. And I hope they fix a lot of things. They probably won't, but I hope they do. So I'm cautiously optimistic because games like it have been good for me. But the Suicide Squad, they've ruined for me. So I'm trying. I'm trying hard.
I don't know. Personally, I have no feelings one way or the other. I mean, I'd be interested to check it out, but the thing is, I don't play a lot of co-op games, especially games like this where it's like forced co-op or it's more co-op focused. It's less my thing.
Well, if it's like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, it's very much you can very much play it single player. But this is again also assuming it's like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. The catch is you play. So let's say you had a team of the X-Men. You have Wolverine, you have Storm, you have Jean Grey, and you have
mighty donator.
Holy shit! Thank you, Nathan.
Yep. Thank you, Nathan.
Jesus Christ. 48.99 British sterling.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so sorry. I've just arrived home from a shopping trip. Hope the stream has been okay so far. It's been pretty good. Thank you very much for the generous super chat, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, man. I kind of forgot what. Okay. I remember what I was saying now. That fucking threw me for a loop. But so let's say your 4 characters are like Wolverine, Storm, Iceman, and Jean Grey. So as you're playing, your first one you selected was Wolverine, so you can play as him, but you can switch between the other 3 as well. If they do it with that mechanic, then it would make the single player. It would make it really kind of fun. But it wasn't really a forced co-op. You could have other people play co-op with you, but you could just switch between all the characters you wanted, and whoever you weren't playing was controlled by the AI. Because words hurt.
Words hurt me very personally.
I don't know why words are so hard for me today. I feel like crap because I know I've had problems with words this entire stream. I'm just like,
Nah, you've been fine. You've been fine. Yeah. I'm interested to see what comes of this game. Generally, I'm not worried if it... I wouldn't be down if it failed or if it succeeded. But yeah, I'm more like neutral on this one, I guess.
I'm gonna actually look something up real quick, just on a hunch. Okay, so no, it's not on Steam, which makes me sad. Yeah, it would probably be something you have to get on Xbox. I don't think it ever came to PC.
I don't own an Xbox. I own a PS4.
Well, that's because you have no taste in consoles.
That's because you have shit taste in consoles.
It's better having shit taste than no taste.
Nope. I have taste in functionality.
Why do you have a PlayStation 4?
Because it works a lot better than your piece of shit Xbox.
The last good PlayStation was PlayStation 2.
The last good PlayStation was the PlayStation 4. Suck it, we got Bloodborne, bitch.
You act like that's gonna give you any footing with me because I hate those games.
And this is why I win this argument.
I said shit taste was better than no taste, and I stand by that. Oh, okay. I remember what I was looking up now. We got into that. I completely forgot what I was doing. I'm just sitting here with Google pulled up, like staring at a blank Google search bar. Okay, so
PC Master Race all the way. That is true, Benito. That is very true. By the way, do you have another community event happening today, or is it a different day?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I've got to remind you to advertise your own damn shit now. Alright, so...
It's not important to me to advertise it when I'm on someone else's.
It's not someone else's, it's ours.
I know, but it's your...
This is the communist stream. It is ours. Yon Solvare. Damn it, where's my Russian fez?
So yeah, apparently it was available on PC. It is, it was released, for...
GOG? That's my guess.
Maybe. Let me look.
It's not on Steam, it's usually either on Epic or GOG. At that
I'm
point.
not going on Epic. Fuck Epic.
I'm not going on Epic either.
No results found. Oh, womp womp womp. Okay, so let's do this a different way. Or PC. Lies you? Oh yeah, you want to hear this? Now available on Steam. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, July 26th, 2016.
Okay.
I am sad now. Yeah, it was available back 4 fucking years ago. It's not anymore. Bastards. Like them. They're doing this to fuck with me.
I'm glad you're doing good, Benito. I'm
sad.
Why are you sad?
So I can't find it, and it's a good game. It makes me sad.
Might be console only now.
They're just not available, period.
That is quite possible.
That would make me even more sad, because it was a really good game.
So what's your community event today, by the way?
Hold on, let me go through my Discord messages, because...
Wait, you don't remember?
Well, so I've told you this behind the scenes. I've had a really fucked up week.
True.
And I just got it settled last night with Coda. We're doing StarCraft 2.
Okay.
So it's one of those. It's not it is that I don't remember, but it's because I literally like, Kodo, what would be easier to do tomorrow? And he's like, this or this. Like, let's do StarCraft 2 because that'll probably be easier. Oh, I'm such a horrible person.
Nah. We're all horrible people. Alright, well, that's all our topics. And I'm fresh out of stuff. How's everybody in the chat doing? We made it through.
we made it through somehow.
Somehow, some way, we made it through. Murder's getting PC Master Race. Crying at the Corn. Look how many Xbox exclusives there are. None! Benito Martinez. No to Epic. Correct. No. And then the rest is people talking back and forth on the chat. Real damn. Shandondare. Marine says, I made it through. Very horny. I respect that. I salute my hat to you. Your horniness outnumbers mine. Not really, but I'll give you that victory for now. Me so horny. Sorry, I always think of that when I say that.
Well,
probably not everybody gets that quote.
Because Captain UFO said Suicide Squad messed up Killer Croc. They didn't really mess him up. They didn't delve too deep into him, which I think was a disservice. But they didn't really mess him up.
Yeah, they didn't really well.
Again, he's also a really hard one to mess up because there's not much about him.
True. It's really hard to use the term messed up in this case.
Yeah. Also, their IP, they can do whatever the fuck they want, unfortunately.
PC can be the one ring to rule them all. It can emulate, it can create it, can game it, can even run Office. Salute to all PC Master Race members here. PC Master Race! I am part of the glorious PC Master Race! I do like the PC Master Race meme, but it's kind of true. I mean, PCs is better, factually, than consoles.
I agree with that.
Ah, good. I'd be very pissed if they did. Oh, messed up the card. Okay.
I'll say the only thing that could potentially make consoles better is with the exclusives, but with that slowly dying out.
Yeah, exclusives games is... Most people are against it anyway. Well, I say that, but the console fanboys aren't. Did you ever notice that the PS4 fanboys are way worse than the Xbox ones? At least in my opinion. I mean, like the PS4 fanboys are fucking nuts. Like, I mean that in full definition. And look, I like PS4 more than Xbox. You know what I like more than both? PC. Fucking all day long. And I see like the PS4 fanboys are fucking nuts.
Yeah.
They legitimately got mad. And I mean mad when Horizon Zero Dawn was announced to be going on PC. Like, fuck no! More people get to enjoy the game? What are you doing, Sony? How dare you make this game more accessible to more people?
So you're
How
gonna love
dare
this.
you?
I did something special. I cut my finger with a Coke bottle.
With a Coke bottle?
With a Coke bottle.
Is it like a bottle, like a cork cap thing?
No.
Oh no, it's possible. How the fuck did you do that?
I don't know. Well, I guess when I was just twisting off the lid. I don't know. Split my finger.
You're an accomplished individual.
I am an accomplished individual.
Oh, good. Marine says, Asmgon, I like me some nuts. Well, you'd probably like mine. Nice and salted.
Just
I
because
can
this
get
is a
worse.
funny segue. Speaking of nuts, I actually I had something I haven't had in a while. I had buttered toffee peanuts.
Buttered toffee peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think I've ever had those.
Do you like Cracker Jack?
No.
Okay. That's used with caramel sauce. So if you take out the popcorn and caramel and replace it with butter toffee, that's essentially what it is. I'm trying to think of. There's a candy. I'm trying to think of. Have you ever had Werther's Original?
No.
I can't help you. I just
I don't partake in a lot of that stuff.
You're uncultured.
I'm cultured in a different way.
You're very uncultured when it comes to like
to the nut connoisseur.
Well, no, just the candy connoisseur, man. I actually have a wrapping paper one.
I'm not big on candy. I don't eat a lot of candy.
Okay, but yeah, this is a Werther's Original wrapper.
Like, I know I'm fat, but I really don't eat that much candy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, well, no, it's out of focus. You can't see the writing on it.
Oh no, I can't. But I'm not. I don't think it'll focus. So you're gonna have to. You're gonna. It won't focus.
It won't focus. But anyway, no. That's Werther's Original. They're really good. Imagine like those melted on peanuts.
Neat. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, now granted, it's fucking diabetes in a can.
Most candy is diabetes in a plastic wrap.
No. This takes it to a whole new level. This is like the fast track diabetes in a can.
I think my top 3 favorite candy is probably Reese's, M&M's, probably Paydays.
Paydays.
I like Paydays.
I was going to call you basic for a minute, and then you said Paydays. I'm like, nah, I like those too.
I like Paydays. I like Paydays a lot. I need more candy in my life. I don't have candy with an I, and I don't have candy with a Y, so... For those of you who don't recognize that joke, that's a hooker joke. Candy with an I. Syl says his better have likes.
For those originals.
Yeah. Murderskin says, you are not fat, you are well fed. Nah, I'm fat. I'm a fat fuck. I'm a pig without the dignity. Alright, I think we're gonna wrap up the stream. Because at this point we're talking about fucking candy. I think we can wrap it up at that point. Like, okay, what's the conversation topic? Candy. Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point.
We've gone special.
Yeah. Thanks so much for everybody who participated in the podcast today. Thank you very much, in particular, Nathan, for the massive generosity. Same with Reverend Norse. Same with Murderous Kitten. You guys are pretty generous today, and really appreciate it. We also had one of our newer members. Let me double check the name so I don't butcher it, because when you're new, it's harder to remember. Punishment 90 also was pretty generous today. You guys were awesome. I very much appreciate all of it. And so does Ludus. We appreciate the generosity. And yeah. Thank you guys.
I was just trying to scroll up so I could see it.
No. Thank you guys so much for watching. You are not fat. Okay, I already read that. Candy with an I is also a reference to Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. Yeah, that's also the joke is also used there. Let's not offend the pigs. Ooh. This is fun. I'm glad this is fun. Let me take you do the candy shop. Okay. Pigs? Do you mean cops? No. Cops aren't pigs. Antifa are pigs, though. Marine, love you, daddy. Well, I love you, sweetie.
The problem is they've got the fire starting ability down, but they haven't figured out how to roast themselves yet.
No. Alright, so that's it from me and Ludus. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Geekiest Theoretics Podcast, Episode 5, and you guys have a great day. Alright, stream has been ended.